Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Hoppy Craftsman. I'm Eddie, along with
Chris.
And Nate.
Nate's back. Yay!
It's been a bit.
And it's a special
It's
episode.
a super special episode.
So
I'd have to believe that Nate's comeback is also due to this
yeah,
special guest.
Yeah, no, we're here for Nate.
I would. John wants to meet where? I'll be there.
I'm in.
So yeah, without further ado, Mr. John Rowley.
Well, thank you guys. It's good to see all of you. I've never podcasted with Eddie.
Yeah.
So this is a new
experience.
new experience for me, and I like it.
Just pretend he's Jeff, but
Nah, it's fine.
Yeah, a younger
with
Jeff.
glasses and younger. He's a younger Jeff.
He's a younger Jeff.
That's what Jeff would look like if he was younger.
Nice.
And Mexican, I guess.
Yeah, super glad to have you on, John.
No tattoos.
No,
I got a
you
few.
got
They're not
Star
as
Wars?
visible as Jeff.
All on his
Star
butt.
Wars tattoos.
Yeah, they're all on my butt.
All on his
Okay.
ass.
Very cool.
Yeah, seriously, super glad to have you on, man. So
Thank you
good to
guys.
see you.
Yeah, I was coming through, so let's
Dude.
podcast.
So should we
Fucking
give John his proper credentials?
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
run off
First,
the list.
for any new listeners.
Yeah, so
Please.
most important on the list, a guest on episode number 31, John Rowley.
Going way back.
There
Yeah.
you go.
That was almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy to
That
think
was
that.
in
That's a long time ago. Tombstone. Yeah.
Yep.
Tombstone
that was a minute ago.
/ Tucson,
Listen,
according to Nate with Weedy.
We have less bees and or bells in the background.
Yeah, there's no bells.
They're just people here.
Hey, that just adds quality
Just
production.
drunk people here. Well, they're not that drunk.
Yeah.
They're happy.
Yes.
It's a happy crowd.
So we got a little bit of a list to go through. So Santa Fe Reporter Restaurant Guide Top 10, Rowley Farmhouse. Craftbeer.com, Great American Beer Bars for New Mexico, Rowley Farmhouse.
Number one.
Featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, Rowley Farmhouse.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did
that's
some
a
research
recent,
today.
That's a recent thing. I wasn't there, so they were filming it, and they kept panning in on Wes, and they made it sound like he was me, and he was like, you know,
He's like-
It's so funny.
he had this this dirty look on his face. I was like, oh boy, there he is.
It's the West Scowl.
Wes Scowl. That's it.
Funny.
That's a beer name. We should make a beer that.
And then now that the restaurant stuff's done, for the beers, 2018 silver medalist for Great American Beer Festival, 2019 gold, silver, and bronze winner at 2019 GABF, and as well as the Small Brew Pub and Small Brew Pub Brewer of the Year for 2019.
Dang, it's been a good year.
It's been a great year.
That's awesome, dude.
We I don't know what to say other than that was a lot of fun.
Listen,
I bet.
I highly recommend it. If you,
I'm sure it
I
wasn't.
highly recommend owning a successful brewery if you ever have the opportunity.
John recommends winning medals at GABF.
yes, that's a lot of fun.
Wow.
It really
That's
is a lot of fun.
so badass, dude. Couldn't happen to a better guy.
I mean, I think our podcast and us recording 2 years ago really springboarded.
Yeah, you really
into
obviously
It was
all
totally
those
that.
things. I mean,
It's
you
totally
cannot argue that it's only been up from there.
yeah, it's true. Right?
That's absolutely true.
You really hit rock bottom that day.
And Weedy still hasn't released our collab yet.
I know. I always wait.
He's
I'm
such a
always like,
slacker.
did we miss
Holy
it?
shit.
I
No,
think
you
we missed
didn't miss it.
Okay, good.
It's sitting in the back of his
It's just
trailer.
it's aging.
It's aging.
Yeah, it's aging.
It's,
Like a fine wine.
well, yeah. I'm anxious to see it. I'm not sure when.
Do you go back, stop in and like make him like let you taste it? And
I haven't really talked to him about it. I should.
yeah, I would.
I'm hoping he's listening.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Weedy, get off your fucking ass.
No, don't worry. We'll definitely tag him in
Yeah, we'll
this.
tag Weedy.
Nice. No, he's cool.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he's got a lot of barrels, and those were the first ones, I think.
Oh, really?
So they got stuffed all the way in the back.
They're like,
So
We'll
in
get
order
to
to
him.
get him, he's got to pull all this other shit out.
not.
So I don't think he's anxious to do that, which I don't blame him.
Yeah, I can totally understand that.
Yeah. I know we
get-
talked about it about a year ago, I think. Hey, what's up with that beer? It's like, oh,
It's aging. It's aging
I
well.
lost it.
yeah.
I lost it. It's your luggage. Like you
It's
lost it at the airport.
gone. I don't know where it went.
Yeah, I got stuck at the airport.
No, it's there.
He took it
it's
across
there.
the border to, age it in some
he could-
tequila barrels or something.
real easy
and
to
forgot
get
it
rid
over
of.
there
Oh
somewhere.
yeah, isn't there like some kind of weird like cross-dressing bar they go to
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
border?
Yeah,
That's where it is.
That's where they left
Yeah.
it there. That's their tab when they go there.
Yeah, they're holding that beer hostage.
Yeah, they have a deposit until they get back.
Nice.
Makes
That's
sense.
Thanks, Weedy.
It's another guy we need to go see soon.
It's a true story. We need to see a lot of people.
And now that
tonight.
we've seen John, we can go see him.
That's true.
Yeah, John naturally needed to.
Would it be
Yeah,
weird
I
if
like
Weedy just
Weedy a
walked
lot.
in right now?
Yeah.
Like he just walked in?
That'd be pretty cool.
We're like,
That would be nice. That would be very convenient for us.
that would be. And
Oh, sorry, we
No.
don't have
No.
an extra mic. You're gonna
I'll
have
just
to share.
leave. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not as important.
Oh, we
as
got
Weedy.
more mics in
I've
there.
been here for like 3
I'm just-
episodes. I don't need to be here.
So we're technically not drinking beers because after that long list, we expected to drink Rowley beers, right?
Oh yeah. That's the
And
plan,
John
right?
brought
we
beers
do
for
have
us.
all of the beers that won medals today, and some of them are at the very end. Like this unlabeled bottle here is the last bottle of it in existence.
Oh, good Lord! Wow.
I have
Well,
goosebumps.
I'm sorry for people listening. You can't try any of this.
No,
Yeah.
we're making more.
Damn it.
It's not
John, why did
No,
we
he's
exclusive?
never making it. This is the last
the
bottle.
last final bottle ever.
But is this the actual award batch?
Yes.
Oh, see,
Okay, well
so-
then it is. Okay,
That's
Yeah.
sick.
exclusivity went
That's
back up.
so badass.
Yeah. So I've been saving that for a special occasion.
So you're not wearing the
We're
medals
not
around
worthy.
your neck. Where did you put them?
For the
They're at the
record.
brewery. They're on the tap room, like hanging on the tap box. I did wear them at the session
Nice.
afterwards, but then I took them off. It's kind of douchey to wear them around town that night.
Yeah, everybody's
Especially
like,
with three of them. It's like, oh, yeah, my
Okay,
penis is bigger
dude.
than yours. I didn't want to do that. 'cause
We get it, man.
you go to Denny's at 3 a.m. You see people with other medals. You just like point at them.
You're just like, oh man, these are in the way. I'm trying to take a bite.
yeah, you gotta
There's
move on.
all this,
They are kinda
all this
heavy.
hardware.
Yeah,
They are kinda
somebody
heavy.
should host a party that you need like 2 medals to get in.
Like you
at
have
least.
to like yeah.
It's like 2 medals or low or higher. It's like, sorry, you only won 1 medal. You
I
can't
like
come
that.
in.
I
So
like
they
that.
actually sell like a little shadow box.
Oh, dude.
The BA does.
Of course.
And they sell a single
that's
shadow
cool.
box and they sell a double. So I asked them if they had a 3-fer, and they're
Right.
like, "No, we don't make a 3-fer." I'm like, "Well, you should.
You should now.
Custom one of a kind.
Right here.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to convince them to make one.
The Brewer Award's no
That's awesome.
slouch either, right? That's pretty beefy too.
That's the big one. Yeah, that's really the big one, and that's from getting all the medals.
But that's a big hunk of hardware, isn't it?
Well, they gave us 2. One says small brew pub. One says small brew pub brewer. They're made out of sandstone. They look like the shape of Red Rocks.
Oh,
That's
okay.
awesome.
So it's really cool. I like Red Rock, so it's a fun venue to go to.
So, that's right.
So yeah, those are heavy. Those are weigh maybe 5-6 pounds each. Those
Man.
are significant.
John walking around looking like Mr. T.
Just yeah.
Put one of those awards on
Yeah,
the
I
chain.
need like elbow surgery after carrying that thing around all day. Torn
Very cool.
muscles and shit. Yeah, they're pretty heavy.
That's awesome, man.
So what order?
Which one are we going to start? We're
Yeah,
going to go bronze to gold or
So
gold
I was
to
actually
bronze?
going to start with this Odell beer,
Okay.
which is a beer you guys probably don't have.
we do
Nope.
not.
So there's a little story. I got this in the mail yesterday, so I figured I'd bring it along because
All right.
I don't like to sit on crowlers, especially IPAs.
That's a
Right.
very good call.
I'm
Let's
gonna go
drink
open it.
So what that beer is there's a guy I know named Kirk Miller. He's the sound engineer for the band Ween.
Okay.
So Ween has been around a long time.
Yeah.
I think he's been working for them since 1989,
Oh wow.
which is, significant amount of time. He did a collaboration with Odell, and they released this for the Halloween shows up in Denver where Ween came to town, played 3 nights.
Gotcha. Okay.
We were working on our patio, so I couldn't go. But he was nice enough to send me a crowler of it. So I wanted to share it with you guys
Very awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, man.
because it's a beer you probably would never have. And there's a little controversy with this beer because it has the little white power symbol on the label.
Yeah, I saw the article about that because a lot of people were.
So there was
Showing
there was some millennial butthurt going around after that, which is fine. I get it.
Is it?
It's not a symbol that spreads
Yeah,
love,
we can do another one.
but it's just a hand symbol. I mean, it's
Yeah,
I
for
don't-
for people listening, it looks like you're doing like the OK, like the big O.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
K.
Oh man, that's crazy, dude. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I'm a white
Oh,
supremacist.
Well, it means
It means
You're like you say
it
okay.
means a few things, right? I
yeah,
mean,
well, I'm just trying to say okay.
I think everybody at this table knows growing up, like if you did it
yeah,
below
it
the
means like
waist.
A-OK,
Right.
right? If you're up here, then nowadays it's a racist symbol.
What?
I don't know. Maybe
What-
it's that way.
There's a level. There's like if you do it
Yeah.
between like your nipples and your waist, you're
Yeah,
fine.
I
if you
don't
do it
know
above
the
it,
actual, what do you call it? The
There's-
protocol
yeah.
for using it properly or improperly.
okay,
But it also means asshole in American Sign Language.
that's true.
Oh,
Yeah.
So if you
okay.
go like this,
Because you go like this, right?
then it means asshole. So it's
Can't
half
remember
of the
what that
sign for asshole.
It means like
that was hilarious to
I
watch
think that
John
means,
do
it means
that.
fuck off. I think I don't remember.
It's also F, the letter F.
There-
So you can say fuck you, F.
that's what my cousin was doing to me. He was deaf. No
And
wonder.
then you make your buddy look at it, and then you get to
You
punch
get
him.
punched.
But it has to be below your waist.
Oh,
well, his
okay.
waist, their waist.
Yeah, I'm
Hey.
not sure the racist protocol because
Yeah, it
I
seems
don't like
weird.
to consider myself a racist.
Yeah, I don't. I like
you
to do things and just assume I'm not doing something racist.
Yeah, we did not have that on your list of credentials.
Thank you.
John Rowley, racist.
No, I mean we have. I'm not into that. It's-
Well,
I'm into love. We all got to get along.
Yeah, man.
Can we have a slight moment of silence for not being able to pass beer over the mixer anymore?
So I guess we should.
it's so small now. It doesn't. We can make sure to pass over it.
You
that makes you more
You
comfortable.
can briefly pass by it.
You can still pass over it if you want.
Yeah, yeah. I could just throw some beer on it.
Yeah.
Get it over with.
Is it waterproof?
It might be a little water resistant, but
Yeah, I don't know about
I
proof.
wouldn't try that then. So
Awesome sound IPA.
So I want to thank Kirk for sending me this beer, and
Oh, it smells awesome.
That's super good.
Yeah.
I'm excited for him. That's his first collab. You know, he's not a beer guy. He's a beer drinker. He loves IPAs. But
That's awesome.
He's not a brewer per se. But to get to do a collab like that, that's fun.
So I'll say
absolutely.
this earlier. I was on the table and I just saw the side of it. And I saw it said awesome and then yes, and I thought it said awesome sauce.
IPA.
Yeah,
That's a good name too.
I was like, oh, and no, then it's sound, which is still cool, but
That is
That
super
beer's
good.
nice. It's super juicy.
Yeah.
It has like
Oh, no.
a West Coast look, not super hazy.
yeah, it's weird. That's
But it has a lot of juice. Very, very tasty beer. Good job, Kirk. I want to give him a shout out.
yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
Make sure to tag
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, sharing is
Sure.
caring.
Here's Carrie.
Hell yeah.
That is really good.
That is very good. I like that.
I like that.
It's a shame it didn't come down here.
so I guess before we get into the GABF beers, let's give us a rundown on what that award day is like.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's
I'll,
a good question.
I'll backtrack
man.
a little bit. So we did so that was on a Saturday morning. On the Friday before that, we were pouring at the Pints for Prostates Denver Rare Beer, which is probably the most fun event of the GABF weekend. And
Yeah.
it's a private event put on by Pints for Prostates.
Okay.
And so they're trying to raise awareness of prostate cancer, trying to reach men through the language of beer, I think is
Right.
what
Good
they
call.
say.
Right.
So we support that highly. My uncle died from prostate cancer.
Oh wow.
So that's an event that means a lot to me
Yeah.
personally. Plus, it's a really cool event.
Yeah.
Everyone brings their kind of most rarest, fun beers to pour, and like in the past, there's a good example of what the kind of things that are there. So Jim Cook, the owner of Sam Adams,
Right.
he's sitting there by himself. He's wearing like he's pretty tidy. He's got the button-up shirt, the khakis, real nice leather belt, the boat shoes,
Blukers. I think they're called Blukers.
Blukers.
The boat shoes.
Yeah, he's this guy. He's looking pretty sharp.
Right.
But no one wants to go talk to him because he's pouring a 29% beer,
Oh my god.
Utopias, every year, and he's a talker.
Okay.
He doesn't stop talking. So if you go to him,
That's your beer. That's the one beer you drink.
you can't really leave. So I went up to him one year and I'm like, hey, I'd like to try your Utopias, and so he actually filled it all the way.
Oh no.
13-ounce glass. He filled it all the way, and he proceeded to talk to me for 45
Holy
minutes.
Shit.
And I didn't really get a
13-ounce
word in
glass.
edgewise. He was just talking and talking and talking and talking.
Wow.
He loves to hear himself talk.
Yeah.
So you can
That's
tell
crazy.
when he's there,
Yeah.
people kind of avoid his booth. They go around it.
That's
they take
so
a wide
sad.
berth. But it's the kind of beer that they have. I mean, they have those
Right.
crazy beers at this event. Like one year, Sam Calagione was there. He's pouring a 120-minute IPA,
Holy cow.
randled through black garlic.
Holy crap!
And they had a bowl of the black garlic for you to eat
Oh wow.
while you're waiting in line. It's just that kind of shit. I mean,
All right.
it's
How do-
really
that's
Where-
so
How do we
awesome.
get invited to this
Yeah,
event?
that shit is awesome.
I have a
That's
prostate.
so
I want to
cool.
go to this thing.
yes.
I have a prostate.
It's worth going.
I care about it.
Yeah, I care about prostates. I have one.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's not a cheap event. This year was $200 for the session, but you get to drink some of the most epic beer.
Yeah, sounds
on
like
the
it's pretty
planet.
worth it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
it's worth it because you're also supporting a good cause.
Right.
Absolutely.
You're
That
not just
Utopia is
paying
going for like 200, right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
yeah,
Utopia.
it's nuts. I mean, the kind of beer they have.
To make a donation like that,
So-
and you get to go ahead and have some beers
So
like that.
We were there.
Man.
We were pouring. We didn't have a. So the way they do it is they have too many breweries that want to pour, so they
sure.
do a thing called a bullpen.
Okay.
So I was late to respond to the email inviting people. So he's like, I can get you in, but you got to be a bullpen brewer. I'm like, all right, that's cool. So what happens is a brewery pours out of a beer. They slide you into their slot, and you put your keg on.
Oh,
They're calling the righty.
Yeah.
there you go.
So-
Starting pitchers taxed out.
So yeah, it's kind of cool. We did the bullpen this year. So it's a fun event. You're drinking. I mean, side project, 5 candles. all kinds of barrel-aged barley wines, high-level sour beers. It's really nuts. So you tend to walk away from that event feeling all right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I bet.
It's so one year they did it, and then they had What the Funk like an hour later.
Oh, Jesus.
And that was a really bad idea because we went back to back, and that was not the best night.
Yeah.
But this year we had an event at a sour beer bar in Denver called Good Zur,
Okay.
which is really awesome. They only focus on like really high-end charcuterie, cheeses. It's a fantastic place to eat.
Yeah,
They do like ramen on Sundays.
Okay.
The chef there is amazing. They have their own pigs. They raise them from scratch.
Dang.
That's
fucking
they really get after
badass.
it. They also have one of the best sour beer selections in the country. So we had an event there. It was also my birthday. So we
there you
got
go.
torn up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw some videos of me. I was like, oh shit, I'm really.
Is that the worst thing to be a brewer and tell somebody at GABF that it's your birthday? Is that just like a death sentence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
that was so we. Long story short, I'm kind of trashed on my birthday. Had a great time, but we have to get up in the morning for the award ceremony, and you're not feeling really great. Walking over there, like,
Yeah.
you can, the feeling.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, but as soon as they called our name,
Oh
okay.
yeah, feeling good now. I bet.
yeah, some chemistry changed right there because I wasn't hungover anymore after
Yeah, feeling good now.
Feeling
Yeah.
real good.
And then
Adrenaline.
it just kept going. It was like, oh my God, again. Oh, holy shit.
What order did you win in?
So I think we won. It was bronze, silver,
Really?
and gold.
Oh, wow. So
Now,
you got the
even as-
build-up.
It even
Yeah.
got the build up
We got
like
the
that.
build-up, yeah.
That's
Dang.
so cool,
I think
man.
so, yeah.
That's so cool.
So, I mean, for people that don't realize what GABF and how why that's actually important, I guess we probably should cover that too. Like, so GABF is the largest craft beer
It's the
festival in
world's
America.
largest beer competition.
So it's the world. It's not even this U.S. It's the world.
Yeah, I think it's bigger than any other competition in the world.
Okay.
I
And
got
it gets
stats.
bigger every year. This year was technically the world's largest beer competition ever.
Okay. Wow. So I'm guessing, yeah, it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Every year it grows by a few hundred entries.
Okay.
I think they were saying during judging it was around 9,700 entries.
Okay.
But then I read the final tally was more like 94 or something. But last year it was like 1,000 less than that. So
Wow. Okay. So that's
Wow.
that's
it
a lot.
grows a lot every
That's a
year.
lot of beer.
And there's what I think we saw was it 20 or is it 2,500 different breweries? How many
Oh,
was
so
that?
I got it. So it was like 9485 total
Okay.
entries.
Okay.
9,400.
Yeah, it was
plus.
right on the cusp of 9,500. Close to 2,300 breweries entered, and
That's a lot.
318 medals were given away.
That's insane. Like,
But you won 3 medals, so that's almost like 1% of the medals that
Right.
you won.
Nice. I'll take it.
math. This guy.
And if you're interested in the rivalry, New Mexico won 7 medals, Arizona won 8 medals.
Arizona beat us by one.
By
Wow.
one, but we also have like 1 million more people than you guys, right? Or
That's
Oh,
yeah.
so yeah, I wrote down the populations. Arizona's population
wrote down the
7.2 million.
population.
7.
New Mexico 2 million.
2 million.
Oh shit!
New
Yeah,
Mexico
I mean-
does well for the size we are.
Listen, I think we should just combine
Some
forces
serious
and try to take
beer
on a county in California, maybe.
Yeah, and then I don't even think, because last I checked, New Mexico has 85 breweries and Arizona has 117. So I don't even think we're touching San Diego yet
No,
combined.
no.
San Diego had like 160-ish,
Yeah.
and that was a year ago. I remember I went to an event there, I think 2 years ago now, and I looked it up, and it was 156 at that time. So and a few have closed since.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Toolbox closed.
I was just gonna say
Oh,
Toolbox.
Toolbox.
We lost
Toolbox
Toolbox.
closed.
R.I.P. Toolbox.
Uh,
Toolbox opened on the same day we did,
okay.
not on the same year, but so we had a shared anniversary.
Very cool.
So we were going to do a collab, but then
Oh, that would
I
have
never
been
got
amazing.
back out there to do it.
So bummed. That
Even
was-
good breweries can close.
Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, at what point do they tell you won the brew pub award?
So the way that worked is we were in line for the second medal, and then how did that work? I think the third medal was announced when we were waiting in line to get the second medal, and they pulled us aside. So when they pulled us aside, we were like, oh yeah, that has to be then,
Right.
because they wouldn't pull you aside.
There's no way.
They want to move you through.
Okay.
I mean, that's like a bottleneck to be sitting there blocking everyone, because that line gets pretty long. They have to stop for a little bit to catch up every once in a while. Because that line is constantly being filled. They try to. I mean, there's 318 medals. Did you say?
Yeah.
Total of 318
in 2.5 hours, 3 hours of time. They got to crank people through there.
Yeah.
Right.
And some breweries aren't there. They just we'll mail it to you.
Keep going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Some are probably too hungover to make it.
So we had a Pro-Am guy with us. He didn't make it.
You didn't make it.
He didn't make it. He was too drunk from the night before.
Fucking rookies. Fucking amateurs.
Pro-Am.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
my buddy Paulie, he didn't make it. He was like, oh, this is tough. I can't get up today. I saw him later, but he was like, oh.
You're like, yeah,
That's how it works, bud.
dude.
That's awesome.
So I'm sad he didn't get to come up on stage with us, but oh well. He didn't seem too upset.
Next year, don't worry. It'll be next year.
Yeah.
It was always
You'll
next year.
win 4.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, 3 is a lot. I mean,
3 is a lot,
unbelievable.
man. So cool. So cool.
So how many categories did you enter in total?
So we had 5 entries. The ones that didn't win were the Pro-Am. We kind of thought the Pro-Am was not going to win because our glycol chiller broke during that fermentation, so it ramped up really high. Now, it was a Saison, so typically Saison yeast can handle a big free rise like that, but we were using the French Saison yeast, the 3711.
That isn't.
And that caps off at 77 degrees Fahrenheit. So when your fermenter's 95,
Oh, shoot.
you're a little over on that one.
Just
so
a
you got
skosh.
it was actually pretty good, but it's not quite what we were aiming for. So I think the judges are professional there. They don't,
Yeah.
they probably wouldn't give it. So that when you're judging at JBF, any little reason they're going to push your beer off.
Okay. Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is like, so do they? So have you've judged before at
Yeah,
JBS?
this is my 3rd year judging at JBF.
Oh, okay, so you judged this year as well.
Yeah.
So like that. How do you do that? Like you said, it's 386. There's, I don't know how many entries at this point in each category, right?
So each category has, a fair amount. There's some really low ones, like there was like a gluten-free one this year, I think.
Okay.
Or no, there was a no alcohol one.
Oh, shit.
I think there was only like 16 entries. That was probably the lowest.
Oh wow. So do you get to choose like which categories you judge, or do they actually
No.
come to you and say, hey, we want you to judge these
pick-
ones?
You get to pick the beers you would prefer to judge,
Okay.
but then they assign you your tables. They don't
Okay.
want you to judge your own beer, of course.
100% right. Yeah, makes
But
sense.
if you're like allergic to smoke beer, they probably won't make you judge smoke beer. But
Right. Yeah, but what if you don't like smoked beer in general, like, and you just
there's
like,
a checklist you fill out saying I can absolutely not judge this beer.
gotcha.
Nice.
I really
Unbiasedly.
want to judge this beer. Like, so your favorites, you
Okay.
tend to get at least some of them.
Okay.
Right.
Not all of them, probably.
So I think the average entry per category was 88.
Okay. Wow.
But that was
Holy
skewed
cow.
because a lot of the American Pale Ale and
Those-
IPAs,
that
they were
messes
like
up
200
numbers.
plus.
ramped up. So so do you have to try all
Jeez.
200 of those, or do you get like a
No,
certain
so the way
section
it
of
works is you have 6 judges on a single table,
them? Okay.
and I'm going to start from the round 1.
Okay.
They split the table in half, so 3 judges and 3 judges. They'll put roughly 10 beers in front of you, and you have to push forward 2 of them or 3 of them. So 2 of them if it's one of the IPA categories, because they're so big,
Okay.
they want to whittle it down faster. 3 if it's any other category. So your top 3 move on, and then that happens again and again and again until you get to the final round,
Okay.
which is when you actually – I've never judged the final round yet, but
Okay.
I think it's more, okay, this beer has a lot of value because of this or that. Whatever the
Right.
category is, they're gonna have a discussion about that.
Okay. So judges. So you only judge for one round. You don't even go all the way through. Like
So usually I've done first round, second round. I didn't do any third rounds this year. I did a
Okay.
third round last year.
Huh, that's
And
interesting.
then sometimes it can go as high as 4 to 5 rounds
Okay. Depending on
if
what.
it's a lot of beer in the category.
Right. Okay. Oh, that's super
But yeah,
interesting.
most beer is less than 100 beers per category, except for the IPAs.
Because I've always wondered, like, if you're drinking, I mean, I imagine not like, drinking everything that you're put in front of you, but even drinking, tasters, you start drinking, 80 of them at that point. That's, I
Yeah.
mean, when you get palate fatigue at a certain point,
Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, there's crackers and stuff to try to help offset that.
Okay. You smell
can
coffee
all-
beans. You like
yeah,
yeah.
you can smell your arm.
Yeah, there you go.
A lot of people smell their arm. Helps reset your nose.
Gotcha.
But that doesn't help with your mouth.
Yeah.
Gargle some balls. No, don't do that.
That'll work.
No, I had to throw a little lightness in there. No, there's no ball gargling.
No ball gargling.
Not
No,
this.
there's water on the table.
Yeah.
Usually that's not great for
Right.
IPAs and stuff, but
Yeah.
for most things it works okay.
All right.
So yeah, it's a lot of work. You're not sitting there like
Just sipping and
Chilling
enjoying
out,
it.
Yeah, you're not having a
beer.
good time, or at least you're having a good time, but you're not sitting there carrying on, talking.
round one. You have to write a lot too. You're basically writing everything down
Okay.
in 3 to 4 minutes. So you have to work. It's not you're actually building up a sweat. You're like, oh shit, let's go.
Yeah.
You're not relaxing.
Yeah.
It's not a
kidding.
relaxing thing to do.
I mean, I think it'd be fun just to try one time, but I don't know if I'd want to do it all the time. I think it'd be
It's
be tough.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's
do you
it's giving back to the beer community by doing it.
sure.
So I want to take part in it.
Right.
Do you think that helps with coming up with different like flavor profiles and things you taste? You're like, oh, that's super interesting. I
think
never
so.
thought maybe
It
that.
depends. Like I get to taste some weird things that I may not like,
Right.
but some things are unique and okay, I like that.
Okay.
I'll try that in a beer.
Yeah,
in the future.
exactly. So I'm thinking maybe it helps kind of expand, get yourself out of the box sometimes, and figure out
Yeah.
things that are different. And
So we had
unusual.
a beer that was really weird. It was like ballpark nachos.
What?
Like it was a goza that had like a heavy nacho cheese nose.
Holy cow.
Like you
Really?
actually smell it. It's like holy shit, ballpark nachos, or whatever.
Yeah, just nacho. That's
Nachos.
food truck nachos.
Go to the movie theater. It's like that. It's like the cheese that she gave us.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the same thing.
That's so
that
funny.
fake nacho cheese.
Yeah, the gallon
So
of
that
cheese.
was not an inspirational beer.
Okay.
That
But
was
it's a
not an
memorable.
It's okay.
Yeah,
well, see,
yeah.
that's
So apparently, Weldworks did a taco beer this year,
okay.
and they're pouring it on the floor. I didn't get to try it,
Oh.
and they were serving it with little taquitos. But what they did was they barrel aged this goza with, I think there was taco sauce in it or something,
Jeez.
in a barrel that had the hot sauce in it before.
Oh wow.
Dang.
So it was kind of a unique thing.
That's very
Yeah.
unique.
Well, that's funny because I think in the last episode you were on, you and Weedy talked about putting beer in a Tabasco barrel.
I think that was mentioned, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have not sought out Tabasco barrels,
Listen,
but they come available sometimes.
I wonder if you can get a cumin barrel. If you actually just put like a barrel with a bunch of cumin. Like you just like I don't
That
know.
doesn't sound good.
Yeah, not at all. So, are there beers that are like phenomenal, but they just don't fit the style at all?
Oh, all the time.
Really?
Okay.
All the time. And those are the
sucks.
ones that hurt the most. As you're like, oh shit, this beer doesn't belong in this category, but it's awesome. It probably would move on if it was in the right category.
Because there was two categories, right, where they didn't pick a medal for anything.
I think there were two. Yeah.
Do you
Like-
get
Well,
to,
I think they didn't give a gold medal or something like that.
Oh, was it the gold?
It's usually I've never seen one they don't give any medals.
Okay.
That's like, oh my god, all this beer's
all
fucked
this?
up.
All this sucks.
And that's
The
happened
locust.
in homebrew competitions that I've seen, but not at GABF.
Okay.
Have you now of the ones that have maybe not met the right category? Do you ever get to leave a note for that
Oh, yeah.
particular beer? So you'd be like,
Absolutely.
heads up, this is
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, there's a score sheet. We don't
Nice.
really assign points in GABF like
Yeah.
you do at in BJCP, but you do write as much as you can. You want to give them feedback. A
yeah,
lot of
absolutely.
breweries they want the feedback. I mean, I
Yeah.
want the feedback.
Yeah, they want to get better.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, how do
That's
you?
what this is for,
Oh,
right?
that's killer. That's good to know.
So you can kind of
They
let
don't
them
have to
know,
do-
like he said, that it's not the right category. If you would have put this in
Yeah,
X or whatever, you would have been
Exactly.
better.
or I feel yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Good to know.
'cause that's a pretty common mistake.
Okay.
I notice a lot of brewers they're not paying attention to the guidelines. They're just I think this would fit there, and then there's a reason it won't.
Is there
Okay.
any common mistakes or one you remember at least as far as one is just it was not that particular style, but it was definitely this?
There was one, I think it was a strawberry goza, and this was not this year because we entered a goza. I couldn't
Right.
have, I couldn't
Gotcha.
I couldn't have judged that, but I think last year there was a strawberry goza, and there was not a fruit in that. I can't remember what it was. Something along those lines, like, oh yeah, this doesn't belong here.
Yeah.
The color is obviously a giveaway.
Right.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact
Yeah.
thing, but we were judging it like a not a contemporary category, but a traditional goza category. So it should be
Gotcha.
a wheat beer, basically.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Well, let's
Interesting.
Let's do this
Very
real quick. Let's take a break. Right. So let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll actually get into the tasting of those beers.
Awesome.
Nice.
Sounds good. We'll be back. Hey guys, we are back from our break. Thanks for coming back with us. Nate has a bottle over there. He's opening up. It is the unlabeled one, John. What is this?
So
this
this
is the bronze?
is the bronze medal winner from this year. It's a beer we call Côte d'Or Double Cerise. And this is actually a 2-year-old beer. It's a beer we released it last year. We had a little bit left. It was really tasting great when we were kind of going through our beer, deciding what we were going to enter.
Okay.
And so
So good.
we, that's it. So we decided to enter that. Luckily, we did because we got a bronze medal. It's drinking really well right now, and this is the final bottle. So, I think Noel probably has a bottle.
No, he doesn't.
Son of
Not
a
anymore.
bitch.
I don't.
I gave him a bottle to give to Justin, but he never drives over there,
Oh, no.
and so he probably still has it.
Huh, well, we'll have to go visit Noel.
You might want to visit Noel.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And what category was this?
So I think we enter this in the mixed culture Brett beer category, which allows for fruit. We thought that this Brett character in this beer was prominent enough that it would shine in that category.
Okay.
Because another thing is if you enter like a beer like this in like the Belgian sour type of categories, those categories are really competitive.
This is probably stocked, right? Full of just.
Yeah, plus it doesn't, it's not really, this beer I think is more bready than sour to me.
Okay.
So I thought it fit better in the,
Well, I'll probably hate it then.
It's not a
beers
sour
like that?
stout.
No, I'm more. I don't know. We'll see. I keep saying I keep searching. I'm not a huge saison fan. When we start talking about like the farm funk kind of, I'm not a huge fan of going that route.
So
but
really saison and sour are really, for me, they're interchangeable.
okay.
So this is not going to be like your saison DuPont.
Okay.
It's not going to be like that. This is a mixed culture beer. It's got a lot of different biology going on. It's going to be funky. It's going to be horse blankety. It's going to
Oh,
be
my God.
sour. It's got the fruit characters comes out in a big way.
Okay.
Because there's 2 pounds of cherries per gallon in this beer, which
I
is a
took
fair
such
amount.
a deep breath of it.
It is funky. The
It is
nose
quite-
on this is funky.
All right.
Oh yeah, it's got some cheese.
Wow, that does have some funk
It's
to
so
it.
fucking good.
Yeah,
Holy smokes, that is
Holy
super
shit.
funky.
yeah. So that's why I entered that category because it's heavy in the funk. P-Funk, George Clinton.
There we go.
It's all the way in.
So low we can't get under it.
Yep.
And the thing on these beers, on the Rowley beers, they're so lightly active. Like the bubbles on these are so small and tight. And
That's what she said.
that's a good one. But it's like I forget the Feliz Cumpleaños that we had that one time.
Oh,
It's
so
like
that was our anniversary beer on our first year.
that one was amazing, but it's like
Spectacular beer.
That was raspberries. And
it
that was
stays
a similar
active.
base beer, but not
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
like
Yeah, that was really good.
it's the only time I ever
That's so good,
I feel
John.
confident using the word like effervescent.
So good.
Like it gets in your
Besides talking about the
nostrils.
band.
Yeah. No, yeah. Bring me back to
we're kinda
life.
aiming for that effervescence.
Effervescence.
Yeah, not like Pepto. No, not Pepto. What is it? Not Alka-Seltzer effervescence.
Right.
Or like carbonated water effervescence.
The Perrier.
Just a very fine,
Just enough to get in your nasal cavity and
a fine carbonation is what I was after.
Okay.
So that takes a while though. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a process. The beer
Yeah, I
ages
mean-
for a long time. Yeah, I mean this is probably. Yeah, the beer itself is probably 3 years old now.
That's
wow. Okay.
crazy.
So I'll say this. The funk that you smell from this beer is definitely not the taste that you get from the beer. Like they're not.
no, it's
Those are different realms completely.
Yeah, I believe that.
Which is crazy. Like, to me, like, if I smelled this, I'd be like, no. Then you try it, and I was just like, oh yeah, I can dig this. I,
dig
like
it,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
like this.
That's so good.
That's crazy. It's just a weird. I mean,
I love I like you said, the horse blanket, man. I love that descriptor
That's a
because
good
it's
one,
like
yeah.
it's right there, man.
Yep, I agree.
wow, yeah,
It's highly funky.
it is super funky.
So good. I like the
love it.
funk, man.
I lo-
I like the funk.
Don't fake the funk on a nasty dunk, right?
Yeah, funk is part of our thing, so we're aiming for a certain level of that. Sometimes it can be too much.
Okay.
I don't
not
think
too
this
much.
beer is that,
Nope.
but we've made some that were a little heavier on the funk than this.
I'd like to know what's too funky. I would like to try. Honestly, I want to know
when
what's.
it
I want to
starts
know what's
taste
too much
like
funk
a
for me.
Band-Aid, I think
Yeah, I was gonna
that's
say
the
that
problem.
Band-Aid dirty diaper or that diaper
Yeah.
smell.
Dirty diaper. Fuck.
Well,
yeah.
the medicinal.
Yeah,
that
you
does
get that
When it
Right.
becomes
really.
medicinal, then I think it's gone too far.
Gotcha.
And we've had a few that we've had to dump
Oh shit, that's my bad.
because they've gone too far. And every brewery has the same kind of problems with that occasionally. I mean,
So when do you know? How long into the process does it take to know, like, oh, this one's turned?
so a lot of it is just tasting it. When it comes to this kind of beer, I treat it more as like a sensory project. Happy birthday! So that lady, she's celebrating her 40th birthday with some
Or
balloons.
she's 4 years
4.
old.
Or she's
Yeah.
04.
Yeah,
so
she could have just turned 4.
Well,
She could
it's
be.
possible.
No, it says 40 on the back of that guy's shirt over there. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's
think
having
it might be.
having a good time.
It's weird.
Those balloons are pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, you can't see them here, but we'll trust us on this.
Just imagine it, just giant gold numbers.
Massive gold balloons. He needs a big gold chain to go with it.
Oh, wow, they all got matching hats too.
Nice.
It's getting awkward. All right.
Matching pants. Impressive. Okay, so yeah, when you'll know when a beer has gone too far.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of tasting your beer as you're making it, and
3
sometimes
years
it
old.
just doesn't work out. You dump it. That's the way it goes.
So this was
gotta be tough.
This was the bronze medal winner. What do you think kept you from silver or gold in this category?
Well, I don't know. I didn't try the other beers.
You didn't get to try the other ones?
Yeah,
of course.
I wasn't judging those categories, but I didn't actually go and look them up either after the fact. I probably should. Homework assignment.
There you go. Yeah.
Go
Right.
try to find the beers. See what did better.
Right.
Do you know what finished in gold in that category?
Top of my head, no.
Okay.
I
we
looked
were-
it up. I didn't write it down.
We were
It's not important. Only
We don't
only
care
third
about
was
those two.
important.
we were pretty ecstatic at the time.
Oh yeah. No, you're not gonna be
so-
too worried about that.
I don't even think we looked up.
It's so killer that you guys actually got him gold. Bronze, silver, gold.
Yeah, that's
too.
really cool.
That's
yeah,
so
that was
awesome.
that was pretty epic.
It's like story. Like you said, you can't write that.
You can't make that up. It's
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But
Guys,
I do know there
cool.
were 94 total entries for this category.
Wow.
So
So that's a fair amount. Yeah,
That's highly competitive, man. That's crazy.
yeah. That's pretty big.
Yeah. Killer.
On that level,
I've entered homebrew competitions that had that many total entries
right?
or thereabouts.
across the
So I mean,
across the
that's
flip.
to have that one category. That's good.
I've entered 0 homebrew categories, so at this point, you beat me, I guess.
No, I'm not. It's not about that.
It's not.
It's not about that.
So what goes into the decision process of entering this in the GABF?
So I'll describe what we did. So we went through all the beers we had in bottles, and some draft. Like the gold medal beer was a beer we didn't bottle at all. That's why it's in a crowler or whatever that thing is.
That's Crawler.
A flask.
Flask, hydro flask.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So that was a draft only beer. So we went through everything, and some beer we immediately were like, we're not going to enter that for whatever reason. So the beer that we made, the sister beer for this beer, was 4 pounds of cherries per gallon this year. It was like a cough syrup type of levels of cherry. It was heavily cherried. I liked the beer, but I thought the carbonation wasn't right. It was a little bit low. We had moved to a smaller bottle at that point, so we weren't getting a good cap. So
Okay.
I've got a bottle of it here. It's not the same beer, but I can show it to you guys later.
Sure.
We tried an experiment where we moved to 375s. I don't think that experiment.
Went well.
No, I think it went okay. It's just I don't like it.
It's not your format.
I like the 750s. So part of it was market pressure.
Yeah.
Like shops locally want 375s. They don't want
Right.
750s anymore. We're actually going to move to canning soon. We bought a canning line, a small one. So we're going to be able to do our our Agent Scully type of beers.
Nice.
And I got some of that for you guys.
What?
Oh, Nate just almost jumped out of his seat.
I just thought we had what was in front of us,
John,
and I was
Got
fully
some for-
excited.
I brought some for you guys just for yourself.
John, did
Good
your
Lord,
shoes get
John.
wet from Nate's penis?
Yeah, I'm a little dirty.
Sorry,
I'm a
guys.
little-
Trying to keep it
little
easy
dirty
over here. That's cool, man.
Biology. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
thumbs
right.
up thing.
Yeah, Jesus. I watch the Discovery Channel. I know what happens on there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No,
That's hilarious.
so the 375 was an experiment for us. Didn't really work because we can't get the price points
Right.
low enough where we want them at our volumes, just because glass is so expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to sell the more core stuff in cans, which is an affordable package that everyone can buy.
Yeah.
And then we're going to keep doing our barrel-aged stuff in the 750s, which is where I want to be with that. And that'll be more of a premium product.
750 is perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. Share it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it. It's a very shareable format. If I buy a small
That's
one,
what
I'm
it's meant
going to
to
have to
do.
buy 2 of them at least.
Yeah, I really
Which
believe
is-
in sharing.
Yeah.
Like, bring a beer, share it with your friends. I mean, if you really wanted to prop a 750 on a Wednesday night, you can.
Yeah, no judgment.
No judgment.
I've definitely done that.
Yeah, people do it every day. It's not a problem. It's really only two beers,
Right.
so it's not a big deal. But people aren't leaning towards that format right now. I don't want it to die though, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Right.
Makes sense. I mean,
Especially if we sell it in house, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have to worry about shops yelling at us. Oh, we can't buy that bottle.
Yeah, well, like you said,
Yeah.
keep the special reserve series,
Yeah.
like buy it in those kind of bottles, and then everything else you can kind of put in a.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
I think it's a good. It's still experimental. We have to work it out, but we're working on it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Especially if you keep winning awards, you can put it in wherever the fuck you want, right?
It's
that
probably
helps.
true.
That
This
definitely
one
helps.
comes in a Circle K Big Gulp or that 7-Eleven.
It's sealed. Don't worry.
So yeah, we went
Yummy.
through all the beers. We tasted them. Some we immediately knew that's not going to go. Some like this one, where like this beer's tasting great right now. Let's enter it. So
Right.
then after that, we decide, okay, this beer is more funky than sour. This beer has this attribute, that attribute. Try to fit the category that best suits them.
Right.
And that's just reading comprehension, basically. You read the guidelines, figure out where it fits, and put it in.
But does judging help you determine
That has
like,
helped me a lot, I think. Yeah.
to figure
bet.
out, oh, this
Yeah,
fits in
'cause
this category?
It's kind of a moving target because the categories do change every year, but they don't change that much.
Mm-hmm.
They change in small ways. Like this year, I think they had German sours last year, where the Berliners and the Gozes were together. This year, they split them up.
Okay.
Things like that happen every year. A new beer comes in, like non-alcoholic beer.
They make a hazy beer
It's
category.
crazy.
Well, I think 2 years ago they only had West Coast IPA, and
Nuts.
people were entering hazies in West Coast, and they're probably getting them thrown off the table. Probably getting a lot of shit from the brewers, like "fuck you guys," because that's such a huge category now.
Wes was just going around and like throwing beers on the floor.
Yeah,
He's just angry.
damn it. So I think the BA is good about listening. Part of the judging process is they give you a feedback packet at the end saying,
Okay.
what do you think we could do better? What categories
Should there be?
should there
kinda-
be? Should there not be? What can we do to improve it? And they're always aiming to improve it. So they do a good job with that. And they definitely listen. They change stuff every year.
Okay.
So I do believe their interests are coinciding with brewers' interests as well.
So when you guys are deciding what goes and what doesn't, does it help that your name's John Rowley and your name's in the building when you make those choices?
Well, I think it does because I'm in charge.
I love
But
that.
I listen
Smart.
to
Right.
so it's a team effort.
Well, so I'm saying, like, if
Of
you go,
course.
I like this one a lot, and everybody else is like, nope, and I'm not a big fan, you're like, no, it's going. It's going.
I don't think we've ever had that happen, but it could happen.
It could, yeah.
The question is,
Yeah.
I think what Chris is trying to ask is how many times do you have to put Wes in timeout?
No, Wes is pretty good. I mean, he has some timeout issues, of course.
You met Wes.
But
We know.
he's, I think overall his head is in the right place. He does a good job. He's very valuable to us, I think, as a
Yeah.
team member.
I mean,
Yeah, it's been
he's helped us tremendously, I think.
awesome.
Nothing but good things from that guy.
Yeah.
Love it.
He ruffles some feathers, of course.
Yeah, well.
But his heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
No, we love Wes. We just love giving him shit.
Yeah, that's the best thing about
You
Wes.
have to give him shit.
Yeah, why would you not?
You have to. I mean, it's part of our relationship. He gives me shit. I give him shit, and it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Right. I mean, if it's one of those, I feel like if you had a sibling, that's kind of what you do to show your affection for each other, kind of thing. Like, if I didn't give you shit, I wouldn't like you. That's
exactly.
That's kind of how it works,
That's
right?
how it works.
Right.
So,
This fucking guy, he made like a little Instagram post yesterday. I was sitting at a table with some guests at the brewery or the brew pub, and he made this little like animated GIF with all these hearts coming out of my ass.
I saw that. Yeah.
Fucking mess.
makes a big fan.
I loved it though.
It was really good.
I loved it.
really
That's super cool. Speaking of which, I know last time Wes was here, we actually did Irene's Tap Room and we did the pie contest with Dark Sky. I think we sent you a photo, John, of all of us. I don't think we're flipping you off, maybe is what it was.
I think it was, yes.
Yeah, so I think we should do that with for Wes.
We
should
can
do
do that.
something.
Yeah.
We should definitely do something.
Every time we
During a
meet
break.
Wes, he's like, we got to call John. Let's call John, or let's send a picture to John. I think he's secretly in love with you.
Oh, he totally is.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
That's understandable.
You can't blame him. Right?
At least from my perspective.
yeah, that's the reason why Nate's sitting closest to
Yeah.
John right now.
Thank you guys for giving me this seat.
Hey,
of honor.
they say that the bromance is actually a more powerful force than a real romance.
I believe it. I don't care what my wife needs right now.
Sorry, baby. I'm hanging out with Rowley.
Yep. John's in town. I told her, John, I was like, John Rowley's going to be on the podcast, baby. I'm going to be there. Sorry. I don't know what's going on Friday.
She'll be fine, right? I mean,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. She's great.
So is it time to move on to the silver medal beer?
I would say so.
Dang, you got through that already?
I'm
just trying
I
to
enjoyed it
savor
so much.
I just don't want it to go anywhere.
Well, they're finishing up their beer. John mentioned it, but I wanted to go into that.
John.
So
John
you
drank-
won the small brew pub of the year.
right?
So for that definition, it's less than 750 barrels produced for the
Right.
previous year, right?
Uh-huh.
It's a restaurant and brewery, so you have your own kitchen,
Right.
and then 25% of the sales for beer is on site, and the beer is brewed on site also,
Yep.
right?
That's correct. So we
And-
match all of those numbers.
So how does that work? Like in your planning, where you're like,
I don't think it really matters. It's really what the BA just puts us in that box.
and they could change it at any time they wanted to, right?
So yeah, I think so. So one year, there's a brewery called what are they called? They're based out of Cleveland. They do the big IPAs. Oh shit, what are they called? Can't remember. I'm drawing a blank here.
420 North.
They
No.
What's that? The one that make all the different. Are they from Cleveland?
it's
The one
like
that all.
I can't remember what the name of it is.
What was it all like the juicy fruit and the friggin'
450 North.
450 North?
That's
No,
in
it's not them.
Indiana.
Yeah,
That's Indiana.
yeah.
Okay. Hey, listen, I was
these guys
close.
are somewhere. I think they are also in the Northwest. They won. I can't remember what it was. Like medium brewery of the year one year, and so somehow they were miscategorized. So they took it away from them, and they gave
Oh,
it.
shit.
They gave it the same day to Boxing Bear, which is a brewery in Albuquerque. And so they learned after the fact. They were out partying that night. They learned
Not
that they won, and they were like, "Holy shit, awesome!"
Jeez.
So-
what was it?
I think as long as you
Fatheads?
tell them the truth, they'll put you in the category that they think you belong in.
Fatheads.
Pardon me. Yes, fatheads.
Fatheads.
That's it.
Fatheads.
Fatheads. So they won one year.
You're welcome, everybody.
Congratulations. Chris was sweating over here thinking about that.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the names. Drawing a blank.
Sorry.
They make good IPAs. Really good.
They do.
So yeah, they won one year, but then they took it away.
So
So I don't know
That
because they
sucks.
have multiple locations, and one was probably listed as something wrong.
okay.
So that's got to be kind of a shitty thing to happen, though.
Oh my gosh, like that's got to be terrible.
Yeah, they're like, they're all partying, and then they learn that it's taking. We're taking that away from
Oh.
you. Sorry.
That's harsh.
What do I tell the boss here?
They partied harder.
Yeah, that's
Party-
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what
Time
do
to
you
go
do?
off the deep end at that point.
Drink some more beers.
Jesus.
you might have to
Jesus.
get some barley wine at that point.
So what's the I guess what's the feeling about having the restaurant part affect your category?
So
Is
from
it
the
a
beginning-
non-descriptor or
No, it's not a big deal. From the beginning, we always wanted to have food. Then there's multiple reasons for that. My partner Jeffrey is a chef, so he, we would have had to have food no matter what, because
Right.
he's not
Something.
he's not gonna change his ways. I don't want him to change his ways.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't imagine how it's a problem anyway.
We
I mean,
we want people to have a good experience. Come in, eat some food, have a beer
Yeah.
or two. We're not trying to get people trashed. The food is part of it.
Right.
Absolutely.
So and New Mexico's different. Santa Fe is different. The city wants you to have food. They really give you a lot of shit if you don't.
Okay.
So if you have a business plan, you show them, we're going to have a restaurant. Oh, green light, boom, stamp.
Shoot.
Other people have tried the same thing without food, and they're like, nope, sorry.
No kidding.
We're not going to allow it. You're
Gotta keep
come
that
back, come back with a revised business plan.
the foodie status in Santa
Yeah,
Fe,
I
right?
think- I think that's part of it. Plus, they don't want people driving around all fucked up.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it makes. I mean, well, that. And, I mean, again, talking
That's
about
true.
sharing a bottle of beer, like to me, food's a very.
It's a big part of it.
It's part of it. It's part of like being together with other people and sharing food and sharing drinks and laughing
Yeah,
and
so
having a
for
good
us,
time. So
it's
The
part
pairing
of
of
our,
it.
It's part of our mindset. It's part of our business, and we're not going to deviate from that anyway. I mean, it's a
I
big.
can't wait to eat there.
Yeah, the food's great. Jeffrey does a fantastic job. His chicken
I'm
biscuit.
amped.
If you want to see it, it's on that Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Is it?
He's
Oh.
cooking that on there. Oh my God, it's so good. Holy
Sweet.
shit. So
Well.
he actually had me make a custom biscuit press because he couldn't get one big enough.
That's so sweet.
So the normal biscuits are like a 3-inch press,
Right. Okay.
3-inch cutter, and he's like, these are too fucking small, man. Can you make me a big one? I'm like, yeah. How big do you want it?
That's
So I made a 4-inch one, and it just works perfectly.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Then you got Guy Fieri in there. Everything you guys touch turns to gold, even biscuits.
I didn't meet Guy, but
That's so sweet, though.
Golden biscuits, I hear.
Yeah.
Golden
he,
biscuits.
All right, I'm gonna
he
open
liked the
this.
biscuit.
Open that bottle.
He liked the biscuit.
That's stupid.
And Nate's a Rowley bottle professional opener.
Hey, I did this at a beer show. I'm professional now.
Yay! Celebrate.
Good job, Nate.
So if everybody
man.
heard that in the
Thank you.
background, that is our some patron supporters of the show.
Yeah, we have a cheering section.
Yeah, a little
Kinda
cheering
weird.
section, which is nice. They came down and one had to come.
Yeah.
She brought you, Ed.
Yeah, was my
The
right.
other- the
As you had no choice.
other one didn't.
No.
They came down to celebrate.
Yeah,
So
Zach and Cena are here.
speaking of which, they helped some of those patrons over there help
Thank you, sir.
support and buy this new gear that we're using. So we probably should mention that on the show. And that
You got to give him a prop.
yeah, we give them props. Thanks again for helping us get to that point. And
Thank you, sir.
we got to figure out what our
Absolutely.
next kind of level of what we need left.
Yeah,
is
what can
next.
you guys buy us next?
we need to figure out what we need for the show and to expand and make our stuff better.
I know what they can buy us next. They can buy us plane tickets so we can go visit John and brew a beer.
There we go.
Yeah, you guys are always welcome.
Or we could just drive our asses up there because it's not that far.
Yeah, but you got to drive through that desolate part.
The desolate
I think it'll be
part
all
of
right.
You guys
I think
are
it'll be
still
okay.
afraid of the petrified forest. Huh?
Yeah, we're scared.
Nice.
If, honestly, I was just buying a house here on November 1st. It closed on October 31st.
Oh,
I was like,
congratulations.
thank you. But I was like, I'm definitely not going to make that fucking Rowley trip.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
Yeah,
they
you guys
I
were
found
in our
out.
calendar for 11/2,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what lit the fire for me to call you guys. I'm like, whoa, I should go talk to those guys.
Yeah. That all.
Thank you so much for doing that.
No, at least I could do it.
Him selling a house. I'm gonna put my house on market next week. So it is been an interesting month for
All
us.
right,
So
well,
it's
good
mine.
luck, guys. I hope you hope it all works out.
Thank you.
I'm not
Thank you.
moving. I'm not going anywhere.
Let's
So.
see where he's at.
I'm never moving again. Firmly.
So I guess we could talk about. We didn't mention where we're at. We're actually at the Sleepy Whale,
What?
and that is in Chandler.
No, that's true.
It's been around 6 months, but it's in the chain of family with the Wandering Tortoise, Hops on Birch, and the newly opened Theodore. And your beers have been on tap at every single one of these places. So do you have a relationship with Justin, or
We do have a relationship with Justin. Justin's probably one of our biggest supporters.
well, it's outside the group that's sitting at
Outside
this
you guys, yeah.
Yeah, but
in terms
Justin,
of buying
but Justin
beer.
actually supports it.
Justin can actually make him money.
Yes, Justin
Whoa.
actually helps him spread his brand.
So yeah, we have a weird situation in Arizona. We're with the Manuel brothers, or Manuel,
Meanwhile,
and they do distribution, but they don't do sales. So
That's
what they
confusing.
are is they're basically a delivery service. So if I deliver beer to them, they'll deliver it to whoever I tell them to.
Gotcha.
So we were with this guy called the Beer Connect.
Yeah, that's who brought the beer when we poured for you.
So Beer Connect acted as a sales type of company. I'm not. I don't want to talk shit about them. I just don't think they represented us correctly
Right.
the way we wanted them. So we stopped working with Chris at the Beer Connect. The problem is that leaves us now without a sales kind of team or
Right.
anything. So what we have to do is email breweries when we're going to send a pallet here, and they basically will get dibs on, they'll basically order it from us, but Manuel will deliver it to them. So it's slightly convoluted.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're a brewery or a tap room in Arizona and you want beer, email us at info@rowleyfarmhouse.com
There you go. Yeah.
and get on our email list. And that's how Tombstone does it too.
Gotcha.
They deal with Manuel, or you can come pick it up.
Yep.
I think a lot of guys like Ian Harwell, he'll just drive down there.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I know Tap and Bottle, they just get in the
Go over.
car. Let's go buy some beer.
That's crazy.
They're a little closer.
They're a little
That's
closer.
awesome.
That doesn't work for us.
Right.
Plus the state lines. So we have to ship it to Manuel, which is fine. The thing is that has kind of limited us a little bit in terms of getting out into this marketplace. Plus, we're small. We brewed close to 300 barrels last year.
Right.
We don't really have a lot of extra beer to put out.
Yeah.
I think now we're going to move a little bit towards that with cans,
Yeah.
but it's still going to be a fairly limited amount of beer. I mean, we're not
The best
we're not
things are.
Stone, we're not.
But
we're not
limited's
Santan.
perfect.
But yeah, we like our size.
Limited's
Yeah,
perfect.
we're make what we can, and that's it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with being limited. I think that's
No, it's better.
I think that's great, personally.
We do what we
But
can.
you let me know if you need a sales team in Arizona or anybody on it. I will be your
You'll be a
guy.
street team. You
want somebody
the
loyal?
Rowley street team out here.
You need someone loyal to the brand. You just let me know.
Well, I mean,
Thank you.
I'll say this. Pouring at Real Wild and Witty for you guys was actually a lot of fun. We
It was
really,
a fucking blast.
really
I mean,
enjoyed it. I think that whatever we talked about the beer was really interested in. They really enjoyed it, and it was really cool to see a lot of people actually.
it was fun to pour for a brand you were passionate about anyway. People loved it.
And everybody thought we were actually from Santa Fe. I think we actually they literally I think the New Times even
had a
said
photo.
What photo of us?
I
And it's like,
saw the picture. That was
and I was like, well, we're kind of from Santa Fe, I guess, but all right.
We sold
take it.
out, if I remember correctly.
We did.
It
We
went
sold
great.
out.
we were
Way
done,
early.
Awesome.
I think,
It
an
went
hour and
great.
a half in, I think.
It was amazing, and I think that's
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed
I
the
thank
mean,
you
hell out
guys
of
for
that.
doing that for us. I mean,
Oh,
anytime.
it was
That
a
was great.
pleasure.
it's
And
good
it-
to have
and-
good friends.
I think that was a very good venue for that too. Like I think, we love seeing you at Strong Beer Fest, but to me that doesn't seem
yeah,
like a very
Real
good
Wild and
festival
Woody
that you
was
guys
what
should
I
be
said.
at. I think it's kind
I
of,
don't think that's a good fit for us.
but
Yeah.
Real Wild and Woody, that's
a
definitely
good fit for us. Yeah.
That was
100%
nice.
fit. That was awesome. So
So yeah,
it was really cool.
I can't. We have a hard time getting into those festivals because I think they really want Arizona beer.
Right.
They do
He
try to
doesn't
limit.
really give me a lot of love personally, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep trying to get in. If we don't, we don't. If we do, we do.
So silly not to have anybody like you guys in there. Jeez.
Yeah,
Well, I think when we talked to Rob, that's
Of course, they may not know you the way we
Rob's
do.
actually he's said he's mentioned that they're trying to focus on, the Arizona craft breweries as much as
Absolutely.
possible, and there are definitely some spaces for people to get in there that are outside of Arizona, but for the most
but
part,
they're
they want to
fairly
try
limited.
to.
So
yeah.
it's a short
Right.
list. If you
Yep.
don't get the list, you're out.
Right.
Which is not a big deal, but I get it, and I respect that.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, we're fanboys.
I'm personally offended.
Yeah, we're offended by it, but I mean, I think from even a consumer standpoint, I think going to the same beer festival and seeing the same people every single year from outside of Arizona is kind of disheartening sometimes. It makes me not want to go back to the same beer festival over and
you
over
want to
again,
mix
right?
it up all the time.
Yeah, I want to be able to go and try things I haven't tried before and see things I doing more experiences, right? And so I get it, but at the same time, I'd want some of that. I want that to be a rotating list of people from outside of Arizona to be there.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Keep the core. Well, you know what? Write that down, Ed.
Okay.
We'll talk to Rob. We'll talk to
Yeah,
Rob next time.
Can you hear
We'll
me?
bring it up.
There you go.
my right.
Rob, we've got some shit to talk to you about.
Listen.
Can't wear a cowboy hat and not invite Rowley to beer festivals.
Yeah.
Rob posted that today. It was some cowboy hat somewhere.
Nice.
So let's not talk about it. We
that's-
did pour beer.
The
Yes.
silver medal
and it is called Agent Orange. It says apple brandy.
So this is Agent Orange is an old homebrew recipe of mine.
This is a homebrew recipe?
Homebrew recipe that
Dude.
that has
God,
graduated
first of all,
to the pro ranks.
The smell on it,
It's nuts. It's
followed up
so
by the taste
jammy.
on it.
So this is a Flanders style red ale.
Yes.
So typically Flanders reds are made by big companies like Rodenbach in large oak foeders, and they blend them. They blend some old beer with new beer, and they make a really consistent product by doing that. This is as close as I could get using barrels.
Yeah.
The problem is this is not this beer was all the same age, so it's
Okay.
a blend of different barrels, but not an old beer with a new beer, because this is the first batch I made of it.
Right.
I do have some barrels of it still that I'm holding back to blend with other beer later. So this is the kind of the younger batch of it, if you will. So Tyler, my part-time brewer, and I brewed this in 2017. I think it was the middle of the year or something like that. We aged it in a bunch of apple brandy barrels. They're smaller barrels. They're 30-gallon barrels, which isn't my favorite. It's kind of the smallest barrel I would like to use.
Oh, really?
Because they let a lot more oxygen in than the bigger barrels.
Makes sense.
So the bigger the barrel, the less oxygen ingress you have.
Okay.
So ideally, like a 5-gallon barrel sucks.
Right.
I know homebrewers want to use them because they want to do barrel aging, and I get it. It's fun.
Right.
But at that point, you should probably just stick to staves or oak chips
Something
in
inside
glass, and then you'll have less problems. But 30-gallon barrels is okay. You just can't leave them in there terribly long. I think this beer probably was in there for about 8 months. And then we made a couple different blends, and this is the medal winning blend.
That is
You
awesome.
can totally get like a caramelized, like smoky apple out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
This one's nuts.
definitely got some apple brandy character.
So what does actually the blending of the old beer and the new beer, what does that actually get the other people actually use Flanders?
that'll
So what
give
is,
you a more consistent product.
okay, so it makes it more consistent. It doesn't
Yeah,
add
so
more
you'll have
flavors or
Yeah, no. So with Rodenbach, they try to make the same Grand Cru all the
Okay.
time,
right.
and it's not always easy. Because if you're just some foeders are going to be more sour than others. I mean, they have 60 foeders to work with,
Right.
so it's going to be it's more of an art than a science. People are, I'm going to taste this with this, see where it's at. Eventually, you get to a point where okay, that's our classic taste.
Gotcha.
Bottle it.
Okay.
We obviously can't do that because of the size limitations, but we can do it to some degree, and that's the attempt here.
Well,
It's delicious.
yeah, I was saying. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not an
it's got
expert in Flanders Red, but this is really good.
It's hard
Yeah,
to
I
imagine
like
what
this. I
would
like
beat
beer a
this.
lot. It came out really nice,
Yeah.
and the apple
Well-
brandy is a nice compliment
Oh yeah.
instead of just a wine barrel, which is going to be a lot more neutral.
What was the ABV?
It's on the bottle, I think.
Yeah, it was a little smeared. I think it was 12.
No. Probably more like 7-ish. I can't remember. It'll be on Untapped too.
Okay.
Oh, you're right. That is a 7. It just has a little mark right in front of it.
Yeah, someone schmoozed on
can't.
that bottle.
Nope. All right, so 7.
So you
Sorry
said
about
this
that.
was a homebrew recipe. At what point did you start with these styles of beers when you first started brewing?
So I think the first ones of these I brewed were probably 2012-ish, and I brewed it a couple times. Those weren't blended; those were just
Straight out of the.
straight out. I don't even think they were wood aged.
Oh, wow.
I just did them in either plastic or glass at that time. I used mostly glass, but I had some plastic buckets. I actually have 6 or 8 buckets still in my bedroom that are probably 8 years old that I just have neglected, and I got to throw them out at some point or check them out, see what's in there.
Yeah, right. Maybe they're aging beer. You don't even know.
They might be okay.
You have 6-year-old beer in there.
Yeah, I haven't touched those in a while, and so I don't have a wife to yell at me. So
Yeah, right there.
if I had
Right.
a wife there, she'd be like, "Get that shit out of here." But
Yeah, that's how it
living
works.
the dream.
Yeah.
I don't really have that situation, so they kind
A
of
4
got
point-
neglected.
A 4.34 on tap.
Yeah, that's
Untapped.
pretty good.
That's a great score.
I'll take that.
Anybody comes in,
Is there 3 people?
doesn't understand the flavor.
Three
doesn't
people, 3 check-ins.
Hang on one second.
That's
I
good
was
math.
joking.
That's good math.
It's like 3 check-ins at 432.
I think they have like a minimum number before they will assign it. As
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, like 20
John,
or something.
there's probably a lot more than 3 check-ins. I'm just
There's
imagining.
probably a few.
Yeah.
We didn't sell a whole lot of this beer.
There better be. There better be a lot of
We
chickens.
still
We're
have
gonna
it at the brewery. So
spread this around.
20 check-ins.
20.
See?
That's not a lot.
See?
Yeah.
That's actually
Total 22. My bad.
Yeah, do you notice an uptick from GABF from the beers?
I think a little bit, not nearly as much as that diners, drive-ins, and dives. That
really.
just fucking blew up. I mean, people have been
Really?
coming all over from that. Oh yeah, I saw you guys on TV.
No,
I want to come
TV.
check it out.
We'll
It's
do
like,
it.
Oh really? Okay, come on in.
Oh no.
That's funny.
So I think that's a lot more powerful than GABF. We had
Okay.
some people come in from GABF. I honestly don't think it's as big a push as I was hoping it would be, but
Okay.
that's fine. I don't care.
yeah. There's absolutely not one bad review of that.
That's
beer.
weird that Guy Fieri. I guess more people watch TV maybe and then understand the
I can't believe how
Judging
many
of the
people
festival?
actually watched that show. I mean,
a ton.
I'm going to say, dude, honestly, that's him and Guy Fieri. I mean, Food Network and Guy Fieri are a little bigger than probably craft beer.
I'd
Yeah,
say
a
it's
little
pretty
bit.
big.
As sad as that
I
may
mean,
be.
So yeah,
Not
I got
bigger
a,
than-
I got a
but
call
big.
from somebody I went to high school with. I
They
did
saw
not
you on the
talk
show?
to them
Really?
forever. And they're like, "Holy shit! I saw you guys on TV.
I saw you.
You
That's
weren't on there.
hilarious.
What the fuck?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was not there. Sorry
No,
about that."
That's pretty funny.
But I was like, I haven't talked to this guy in fucking 30 years. Like,
Just called you up for that.
like
He's like, hey, what's going on? Let's see you on the drive-in.
That is
so
too
it
funny.
definitely has an outreach, if you will.
Right.
Yeah, you guys do a lot of double dipping. You're in festivals. I think when we poured for you at Real Wild and Woody, you were in
you
St.
guys were-
Louis.
So we do the St. Louis one every year. It kind of sucks because it coincides with that usually the same weekend.
Right.
We're good friends with Phil and Emily at Perennial, and that's their festival. So they're like, so our relationship with them is like your relationship with me.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Wow.
We're kind of fanboys of theirs.
Okay.
make some-
I was
they make
gonna
some good
say,
beers.
you worship the ground they walk on.
Yeah, Phil
No.
is awesome.
I'm just kidding.
I love
I'm
that
just
guy.
kidding.
Love
No,
him.
I'm just kidding.
You started a podcast and just talk about them all the time?
No, I
Just
don't-
just to invite them.
Listen,
We haven't done a
yeah,
show since
Wait,
we last
that's,
saw
that's-
you.
Yeah,
that sounds oddly specific
we've
to
done that
us.
festival now for three
That's awesome.
3 years in a row.
That's
and that's a
awesome.
lot of fun. I mean, it kind of sucks because it's not the festival, but it's St. Louis in the summer. It's
Okay.
fucking hot.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like a dry heat.
Yeah.
It's
So you're just
soppy-
fucking wet.
It's a wet heat,
It's a
which is the
wet-
worst.
Wet heat.
It's
And this
it's
last
a-
year, the
wet
place they had
heat.
was not air conditioned well, and
Oh,
you're fucking
That's
sweating.
hilarious.
It's a moist heat.
It was
Oh,
a
wet
moist
heat.
I said,
That's
and we
shit's
just
hilarious.
lost so many listeners all of
No,
a sudden
like,
because that said
cannot
moist.
say moist.
No, that's what
Just
we're.
drives people
Hey,
away.
no, we're gonna.
We say moist.
What's the beer we said we're gonna do with Dark Sky Brown or Moist Sponge?
Moist sponge.
And we're gonna
shit.
do we'll
Yeah.
do a sister with Rowley
be
and
the
do Moist
least-
Heat.
It'll be the
Moist.
least sold beers ever.
Moist heat. So that's going to be like a pepper beer or what?
Yeah. Oh,
But you guys are
That's too
Green
good.
chili beer.
double dipping
Green
this
chili.
weekend, aren't you? Because you're going
So
to.
yeah, Lisa, my partner's wife, she's at Fobab right now. She's hanging out with Josh Goodstein.
the Rowley Funhouse
Yeah,
crew.
the Funhouse crew. Wes is actually not going this weekend. He's working at the brewery.
He's grounded.
Good.
Yeah, he
Put
was
him to
here
work.
last weekend. He had a good time.
He needs to work sometimes, I think.
He should work
yeah.
sometimes. Yeah,
It should work.
I mean, I don't know.
a little bit.
Sometimes.
A little bit. So he's going to be working this weekend. I'm here. Lisa's there. We do that a lot because she travels a lot
Okay.
Right.
for her job. So she'll go to festivals that I'd never even heard of, and be like, "Hey, I'm going to this festival." I'm like, "Okay, cool.
Very cool.
Have
Nice.
fun."
And you're going to Barry White Day, right?
I'm going to Barry White Day tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to be pouring
Dang.
beer there,
Very cool.
and then at Park Plaza after the event, they're doing a tap take over there too.
That's
So
killer.
we got 4 kegs up in Prescott right now. Prescott.
cool.
That's awesome.
Prescott.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gotta say it
Prescott.
right.
Yeah, say it right. People get angry.
Yeah, I'm not a local, so
There, you're forgiven, I guess, maybe a little bit.
Only the
Prescott.
cream of the crop at Barry White Day, I'm sure. That's awesome.
it's
That
cool.
went down pretty fast.
Those guys are awesome.
I know.
Superstition is.
Oh, yeah. Those
I mean,
guys
they've
are.
done so much for Arizona beer in general.
Well, it's funny. Like we were in line like 3 years ago for a beer. We actually drove to San Diego to go get a line for a beer. It was the 24K.
Yeah.
And we were like in line, and the like two guys behind us was wearing was a Superstition Meadery like hat. He had a hat on
Right.
Meadery. We're just like, we know that place.
You know that place.
Like that's how funny is that? It's like random.
Yeah, big stuff.
Yeah,
It's
I
like-
love those guys. They've come out. We did a collab with them here, and I'm actually taking 2 of those barrels back with me this weekend
Oh, beautiful.
Nice.
for a collab we did at our place like 6 weeks ago or something like that.
Okay.
We made a braggot. So
Oh, killer.
Nice.
a braggot is basically a mix of wort and mead.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, we did something like that. Should be fun.
That'd be really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Should be
Jared
badass.
and Tyler they came out. Jeff came out too.
Well, that's awesome.
He's a tough one.
Yeah, he's busy.
That guy.
I mean, guy
He's a
gets
busy
around.
guy.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
in Tokyo. He's in fucking
Yeah.
I was going to say
Sweden.
Jeff's the international man of
Yeah,
mystery.
Dude,
He
it
gets
is
around.
insane.
And they're working on a restaurant in Phoenix right now too.
Yep,
So.
they're working
even more so.
coming
They're down here.
downtown.
Very cool.
That's the thing is like we when we were up there talking to them. You know, they had a little board and it was like
Oh.
and it was like local stuff, international stuff.
uh,
And you're like, wait a
you know,
minute.
he's super well organized. I mean,
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
guy's yeah, he's got his shit together.
Yep.
It's funny,
You
as
have
we're
to.
talking about that, I just saw somebody walk by with a Superstition Meadery shirt
That's how it
on.
works.
Oh, I'm sure there's a few in here.
I mean, we're sitting behind like
I was
There's
gonna
like a-
say you might
Yeah,
look
there's
behind
like 40
us.
bottles right
40
there.
behind us behind us. The shelf here on Sleepy Whale. If you're looking for some
Yeah,
some,
you want
Sushi
some
Meadery.
You want some mead? There you go.
come down here. There's a few bottles here
Hey,
for
he's
you.
got some.
Check it out.
Justin's
That's
got some.
funny.
Good.
Yeah, Justin's got something at the tortoise for sure.
Yeah, he's
All over the
he's
place.
well stocked.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For friggin' sure.
So should we take a break and then come back with the gold medal beer?
Listen, my facial expressions, just look at it when I drink it.
Yeah. You can just tell.
You can just tell.
Do you want to go Facebook
Wow.
Live with your
Are we
reaction?
back?
Is that
I didn't hear the beep head.
is that flask empty?
Yes.
Can I see it?
No.
No, it's just like I got more in it.
I don't know whose beer this is next to me, but
I think it was
maybe
Nate's.
Is this yours?
Yeah, but it's just falling out of rotation.
He's done. He's done with this
Secondary
nonsense.
to everything else on the table. I don't know why I grabbed it. Are we back?
We're back now. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back, everybody.
We took a little longer because there was a lot of cheersing going on. In
Yeah, there's
between.
lots of good stuff.
Also, we
going
had to take that photo for Wes. So,
Yeah.
Wes, hope you saw
Every
that.
last drop, please.
Hope you saw that in the past. This is us in the future talking to you. You're welcome.
This is us in the future talking to you. Place that bet.
Weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
So, what are we drinking right now?
So this is a beer we call Meyer, and it's spelled Meier.
Oh, like the grocery store in Michigan.
It's
Like the
named,
country.
it's named after
Oh.
a guy in St. Louis we know called Troy Meyer.
So it's not the limit.
It is Meyer Lemon, but there's this backstory here. So we went to the Midwest Belgian Beer Festival before we opened. So this is probably 2014-ish. I went as a participant, not a brewer, and they've always had homebrewers pouring at this festival.
Oh, okay.
They have a big homebrew club in St. Louis called STL Hops,
It's a good name.
and they have traditionally had a presence at this event where like 8 or 10 homebrewers would bring a 6-tel and pour their own beer. So they had multiple jockey boxes, and they had a big board. And they had a memorable beer. It was called the MeyerLemonParty.org. And it was named after the brewer, Troy Meyer, who is a guy that I have gotten along well with. We have a similar kind of mindset. And, we like to joke around and shit. And, so that beer was actually really good. And it kind of stuck to me like Meyer Lemon. It wasn't a Goza. I think it was something else. Maybe a Saison. But so when I decided to do a Meyer Lemon beer, I'm like, oh, let's do a Meyer Lemon Goza. We'll call it Meyer, but we'll spell it differently. We'll name it after Troy. Give Troy a prop. This was the beer that won the gold medal at GABF.
That's so awesome.
It wasn't bottled. It was a draft-only beer, and that's why we're pouring it from the flask.
The flask.
But
Which is
I mean,
held up great.
As I say,
it's
travel
held
well.
up pretty well. So when we were tasting our beer in July-ish, trying to figure out what we were going to enter, This was definitely at the top of our list. We were like, oh, this beer is so bright. And Wes said it was the best beer he'd ever brewed.
Wow.
He was so amped on it.
And if you've ever talked to Wes, he's not.
It smells.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he would be like.
He doesn't fluff up his beers like good.
He's not a
critical
fluffer.
of them.
Yeah.
He's a fluffer, just not about his
Different
beers.
kind of fluffer.
That smells so incredibly
I
good.
haven't smelled it. I literally.
What the fuck are you doing over there?
I'm
He
waiting.
wants
You're
an
on a beer
authentic
podcast.
I'm
reaction.
trying to wait to John's.
He wants the audio, the visual, and the sensual.
I want to hear
experience.
like the history behind this beer, Nate, and then
Dude,
I
don't want
experience-
this beer to end.
Yeah, I wish I had more.
Awesome.
It's
It
we'll,
is-
we'll make more. It's an easy beer to make, which is good.
Wow.
It's
I mean,
not a crazy beer.
Listen, it's an easy beer to make, but you've got a gold medal for it. So I don't know if that's a very.
Hey, you
no,
know
so
what?
I mean,
last
could I
year
make
we
this
won
beer?
for our Berliner Weiss a gold or a silver. Sorry.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's our easiest beer to make. you
But
know,
Listen,
that's-
you know it's but even some of the most simplistic things can be so special.
That's
though.
what I'm saying,
And
like-
it just matters just because you're good at it and you do it well and it was easy doesn't mean it's not incredibly special.
I just want to know what John Rowley's easy
Especially in
versus
this
my
instance.
easy is going to be. I don't think
exactly,
they're going to be the same
fucking
level.
Exactly.
yeah, I mean,
'Cause this
it's
is
not
insane.
barrel aged. It's not fruited. I mean, it's a beer I can turn around in 2 to 3 weeks, which is great. I mean, it is fruited. It does have the Meyer lemons.
I was
But
saying, like,
I was just going to ask. I was like, what the fuck
how'd you get the
made
lemon flavor
this?
in there?
So
I just went from astonished to blown away.
So here's a good thing here. So when you talk about Berliner Weiss, Goza, 99% of people make a kettle sour version, right? Because they don't want to infect their brewery with lactobacillus, and that's totally legit. I mean, if you're making 1,000 barrels a month of IPA, and you get a
Yeah.
lacto infection, you're fucked. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
that's not a good thing. People are not going to get paid. There's a big difference between like a small brewery having a lacto infection versus a really big one having a lacto infection. Like something like Goose Island, they had all that lactobacillus infection in their beers. I mean, they're recalling and buying beer back, and that's a huge fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I don't have to ever do anything like that because that sucks. Granted, that's a different thing. Stout, and they have the money. AB InBev, I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a tangent. So when we do our like kettle sour equivalent, it's not kettle souring because we don't boil it again.
Oh, yeah.
So we pitch lacto in the fermenter, and then we pitch yeast.
Okay.
So I don't have to boil it. I don't have to take it out. Now, granted, there's a risk of infecting the brewery, but we've already accepted that, and our brewery is infected anyway.
I
Right.
was going to say, it's already infected.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Wes has had himself all over that brewery. Yeah, it's definitely
it's
infected.
definitely infected.
It's lousy with infection.
Sorry, Wes.
That's
No,
so
sorry,
funny.
not sorry.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wes.
Sorry, not sorry.
Listen, if Wes was here, he'd be talking.
He would say the same thing.
Yeah, about you. So we're
Oh,
going to flip
yeah.
the tables. That's fine. That's how it works.
It's all good. So yeah, the advantage of doing this is you get all of these kind of lactobacillus driven compounds that get boiled off when you do a kettle sour beer. And when you do a kettle sour beer, you're left with acid, which is fine. That's what you're shooting for.
Yeah.
But if you smell this beer, you get all this kind of yogurtiness. You get all these small micro bits of compounds that you don't get normally from a kettle soured version.
Okay.
So that it's really unique because this live lacto fermentations, that never goes away. That's part of the beer henceforth.
That's awesome.
So that's really what I think separates this from your normal average kettle sour. But it's the same beer, just
I just keep looking at Nate's face, and he just keeps enjoying that beer.
loves it. I mean, it's good beer.
I am. I just keep enjoying the shit out of it.
Well, that's the thing with those kettle sours. Like, they're almost like acidity hot immediately.
Yeah.
You can feel them start to get in the back of your
Well,
throat and kind of
that's what you're
burn.
aiming for. You're trying to add acid to your beer.
Yeah.
But this is
with that
It's
thing.
so
so
smooth.
clean.
Yeah,
it's so incredibly
you feel
clean.
that little acidic bite, and then it's gone. It just finishes
And
immediately.
this beer, it's more in the nose than in the taste. I think
Oh, that's
it's definitely
it's
got
a special
nice
beer.
lacto-
And do you remember the category for
special.
this one?
So this one we entered it as a traditional Goza because if you read the guidelines, which is something I'd like to emphasize, read the guidelines. Tells you everything right there.
Right.
It says it can have a lemony type of quality to it naturally. So what we do for this beer is we don't add lemon juice or anything. We take Meyer lemons, 50 pounds, cut them up in half. We throw them in the mash, and we do a 60-minute mash.
Okay.
And that lemon essence comes out. It also lowers the pH, so you get a pH adjustment that you would normally get from adding phosphoric acid or whatever. You know, people add lactic acid to their mashes. They add phosphoric, whatever they have.
Acid.
Actual yogurt.
Yogurt.
Yeah.
Actual yogurt. I've seen that.
People do yogurt. That's for the culture though. That's not for the pH adjustment. So, it's kind of a 2-for-1 special with this kind of beer. And we've done other versions, key lime. We've done tangerine. We've done grapefruits.
So how do you deal with like the oils from actually the lemons and the limes?
So
from actually,
it's almost negligible. You don't see any head retention problems.
Okay.
There are a little bit of oil, but I never see like a skim or anything or film on the top. So it's not enough to cause a problem.
Okay. So I was wondering that. With like lemons and like fruit like that, instead of just using the pulp or the juice, like people actually use the whole lemon. Or even on the other side, people actually use like, pecans or nuts kind of in their beers. And wondering how that.
I think are more of an issue. There's probably more oils in nuts.
Okay.
Than in the pith or skins of lemons or citrus fruit. But I haven't really seen any issue with it, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, it's working evidently. So
I don't stop.
Yeah.
So at GABF, there has to be some out of all those categories. What did we say? How many categories there are?
There's like 108 total categories.
There has to be some that are more prestigious than others. I guess not. That's
I would
more,
think so,
but
yeah. Well, the IPAs tends to be like, even though it's like a middle numbered category, they hold it for last.
I would think traditional Goza would be quite high on that. I don't
think it is. It's kind of in the middle, I would think.
Really? Either way.
So the total
surprising.
entries for this category was 63.
Really?
So, and the average was 88. But do you think there's
just to make a great one, though? you'd think. But yeah, it's still.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think there's certain categories where there's only a few breweries who even should attempt to enter that category, and that's why they're so low versus this just isn't a popular
I think
style?
there are some styles are more popular than others. Obviously, IPA is what comes to mind.
Yeah.
But I think this year, look up Belgian Double. That's 25 entries.
Yeah.
Wow.
So some styles just aren't as popular. I think Goza's kind of in the middle. It's not crazy popular. It's a beer I like to drink. So
yeah,
I hate to see that it's not popular.
I was gonna say I'm a little surprised by that.
Well, do you think
know,
that
though.
I think maybe it's just Arizona, but we've seen a lot more people releasing doing a lot more lagers and more traditional style beers. Is that something that you feel like that's kind of? I feel like that's what craft beer in general is go. They went through this period of kind of a purist mindset to we're not putting adjuncts in our beer to let's put all the adjuncts in our beer, and now it's kind of moving back more towards.
Yeah, it's kind of a moving target always.
Yeah.
I think in general, I think people want to go back to traditional styles.
Yeah.
It depends. Some breweries live off of crazy shit.
Right. That's their model. You have to.
Their customer base wants the stupidest adjuncts possible.
100%.
And that's common, I think, in some places.
Oh, yeah.
New Mexico, that's not a big thing. I think New Mexico in general wants, they want more traditional beer. There's some push for doing more adjunct stouts now, which is not something that's been popular for us.
Okay.
But it's coming around, I think. We're 5 years behind the curves on everything. So nobody's really making a milkshake IPA yet.
Right.
So maybe that's coming. I don't know. Wes would want it.
Right.
Yeah,
he wants slushy beers, and he wants me to get a slushy machine.
He does not.
He does.
He does not.
He does. He's so gay about stuff like that. Unbelievable. Love the kid, but he has the weirdest glitter. He loves glitter.
Dude, that's the fun. It's so funny. I wonder if he likes it just because it's not.
I think he likes it because it's not popular.
Right, it's because it's not popular. It's almost like the
so
anti-culture.
He's a button pusher. He wants to fuck with people.
Oh, yeah. It seems like that's what he'd be into.
I want this in a slushy. I want a Meyer slushy
that beer would
fucking
work in
day.
That beer would work in that.
All fucking day.
I'll take it. Yeah, that'd be really good.
I can't believe that New Mexico wouldn't line up for that. That sounds
People
amazing.
don't line up for anything in New Mexico.
Yeah. Okay, there's that problem.
Almost
But
impossible to get people to come out for releases. It's
Really?
not a thing here. Yeah,
It's brunch.
It's not a thing there.
shit, dude, I need to live in that town so I can have no lines.
0 lines. Show up to the bar.
You
Hey,
put a
I want a
brunch.
can of that. No problem.
Yeah, anytime. Here you go.
Still, that's so funny to hear that about Wes. I would think Wes would rather drop kick a slushy machine than have
He
one.
loves it. He can't get enough.
Dude, honestly, that blows my fuck.
Yeah,
I know,
he
right?
loves it.
That's great.
He,
Seriously,
yeah,
I'm
he
not-
really wants me to get one.
I want a Meyer slushy.
They're kind of expensive though. I mean,
Oh, I bet.
they're not cheap, and my partner's
Really?
cheap, so I don't think it's gonna
It's
happen.
never gonna happen.
Hey, man, I want to sell you on a beer slushy machine. I don't think so.
Nah, probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's kind of a Florida thing, probably.
Yeah.
Well, hey, listen. Cider Core does cider slushies. So
Nice.
Yeah, they got a slushy machine here, I think.
do they really?
No, the
Yeah, they
tortoise
do.
has.
Tortoise?
The tortoise has one. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
they were
have
doing
one.
blueberry spaceship boxed slushies here.
Oh,
Nice.
maybe they
Yeah.
That
rotate.
could work.
Yeah, oh yeah, the people.
That would definitely be good.
Does that come in draft or is that a bottle only product?
Yeah, I believe draft only, unfortunately, on that one.
Bottled slushies. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Can't wait for all those bottles to explode.
They're nitrogen. They're nitrogen.
just fucking can't get the shit out.
yeah.
It's like a
Like a
whipped
bottle
cream
of
can.
ketchup, can't get it out.
Yeah. Wow, it's just yeah, honestly, man, such a special beer. Just thank you so much for sharing it with us.
No problem. I
I
Yeah,
feel
thank you.
I
so
had really
bad.
high hopes for this one going in, and it won the gold. So
The fact that it's
What a great
held
payoff.
up in a
Just to really want it, and then just to know you think it's great.
yeah, Wes said that's the best beer he's ever brewed. So
That's a testament to his skill, man.
yeah, he brewed
just
this
to know.
beer. I brewed the cerise base with Cote d'Or base with our old brewer Jamie. He left to start his own place,
Nice.
and then Tyler and I brewed the Agent Orange. So it was a team effort.
Oh yeah,
Everyone was involved.
awesome.
Everyone got their day in the sun. So I really like that. It wasn't just one of us. You know, it was all of us.
What a special time that was, man. That's awesome.
So you have an event coming up, Black Friday, that you do every year, John. And every time I see
Okay.
it pop up, I'm like, damn it, why aren't you closer?
So we do this thing called the Blackest Friday, and it's all we basically take over all our taps or most of our taps. I think we'll keep. So last year we had 19 barrel aged imperial stouts, and so the criteria it has to be barrel aged, and it has to be an imperial stout. Some of them have adjuncts, but mainly not. Like I think this year we have maybe 2 or 3 adjunct ones,
Okay.
but the bulk of them are just barrel-aged imperial stouts. So off the top of my head, we've got like a maple parabola. That's probably one of the adjunct ones. We've got a BA Narwhal.
Oh, really?
I think it was the only one in the state, so we got that. Yeah, there's a bunch. I mean, it's nuts. So it's really, yeah, it's kind of event where you want to probably get a room next door at the hotel because it's a lot of strong beer.
And you guys do food pairing with it too? Like you actually have like
Yeah.
different food that kind of goes with the stouts as well?
He'll make some special stuff just for certain ones.
Very cool.
and-
Desserts, hopefully.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good event. You know, it's kind of our like fuck ABI thing because
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if people still do it, but in the past they used to go wait in line for Goose Island bottles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Not anymore. I've seen
I think it's kind of fallen off.
I've seen a lot of, around here for sure. It's funny because you can see on like forums and there are people that actually talk about stuff.
Right.
And it's different areas with just different things too because there are people who are like, oh, I couldn't get this. And then I go to the store here and there's like
And
20
there's a ton
bottles
of
just
them
sitting
here,
there.
yeah.
Or there's like a pallet at Bevmo or something just hanging out. And you're like, nope.
Easy enough.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I think other places it's more popular than in the Southwest.
Right.
So yeah, we just do that as a service to the stout lovers in the area. It's a fun event.
That's awesome.
No, that sounds
it's
awesome.
That's
crazy
so
'cause
awesome.
We get a lot of people come out just for that.
What time of the year is it typically?
We usually do it on Black Friday.
It's
Okay.
November 29th this year.
Yeah, November 29th.
So you should
Sweet.
go
So
to Santa Fe, eat some friggin'
I was gonna say we already need to
Crazy
go, so we'll
turkey.
go like sometime when it's hot as shit, and then we'll go again next November.
yeah, right. Yeah,
You guys are always welcome. You know, I got bedrooms for you. You
Oh, we're
take care of you.
it's gonna happen, John. Finally, we're gonna leave this fucking place and finally come up there. But yeah, Thanks.
Nate can bunk with Wes.
there you go.
yeah,
with
Wes would
pleasure.
like that.
Wes would like that. Get us like a twin bed, all set.
Yeah. He's skinny. You can keep him warm.
Nate
good-
and Wes would be
Big
like
spoon, a little
stepbrothers.
spoon.
Yeah,
You're right. Big spoon, little spoon.
They'd just be running around shouting "Barley wine is life" all night.
Oh God,
Oh, jeez.
barley wine is life.
Yeah, that's a
DSP.
thing.
So good.
That's a thing.
So,
So
many
what-
good beers.
So what else do you have coming up, John? Like besides that, you guys going more festivals coming up? You doing some
Um,
things? People can go check you out.
so, yeah,
That's listening
lately
around the U.S.
So I've got a few things coming up. Nothing really crazy. Blackest Friday is a big event.
Yep.
We're working on our patio, trying to get it sealed up for the winter. That's been a ongoing project. I think this weekend we'll get a lot done.
Just sealing it up
I'm
so you
not
can
there.
use it, basically.
Yeah, so we can use it so it's heated and
Yeah.
it's comfortable because our spot inside is too small just to have that alone.
Gotcha.
So even in the middle of the winter, we want to have seating. So we seal up the outside.
Nice.
So in the first year, we got a big tent. That worked pretty well, but then it blew away in the
Oh,
in
shit.
the spring.
Okay.
Springtime in New Mexico is really windy. So no matter how hard you lash it down and try to
Right.
get it in, and
Note to self: don't
Yeah.
come in the spring.
spring's
That's
probably
hilarious.
the worst time to come. So then we did the tent again the next year. We tried harder to get it latched down and ratchet straps, and things still blew out.
No
Oh,
shit.
jeez.
So then the next year we built a big overhang pergola type of structure.
Nice.
That's really robust.
That blew
Nice.
away.
Nope.
That
It's not
blew.
going anywhere.
Yeah, and then that
That's like-
blew as well.
Big fat timbers. It's not going
That's
anywhere.
sick.
The problem with that is it's not sealed up.
Right.
It's open. So we sealed it up with vinyl. Try to get it a little warmer, and it worked okay. We had some issues with air flowing in the bottom and out the top, and like dragging all the heat with it,
Yeah.
like a Venturi effect. Just kind of sucked all the heat
Right.
out. So we've sealed that all up. I think this year it'll be significantly warmer.
Very nice.
We also built doors in the front and a new wall. Took out some of the fence on the inside, and we're going to put some glass up. So we're hoping to get a little convection type of heating.
Right.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
Sun baking it gets warmer in there,
Nice.
and that's more permanent. You don't have to change it or put vinyl up every year.
Right.
And then next year we're going to put up big garage doors like this.
Oh, sick.
So then all you got to do is lower the doors, close the doors, raise the doors. Then you don't have to think about it.
Right. It's just
Right.
Because we spend like a month every year trying to
get this sealed
get
down.
it sealed
ready
up
for
and, propane heaters and all this shit. It's a real pain in the ass.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to getting over that.
You spend some other time doing some other cool things.
Yeah, I want to brew beer and
Yeah.
do more fun stuff, not work on the patio.
Get slushy machines.
Slushy
Get
machines.
slushies. Hurricanes.
Honestly, I'd rather have a slushy machine than work on that fucking patio.
It'd be awesome if like we chipped in and got like Wes that icy like kids slushy maker, that little
Yeah.
like tabletop
There you
toy.
go.
That would
There
be
you
That
go.
would be awesome.
That would be a killer present for him.
That would
We're
be
gonna
really
work
nice.
on that. Maybe that's what we put some Patreon money to.
There we go.
We'll
Yeah.
buy a Wes an
Mhm.
icy maker,
The
like
kids-
a little like a kids kitchen one or
the
whatever.
play school kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. I'm in.
Besides that, I think there's a couple things. I've got a collaboration in Richmond, Virginia, with a guy named Bill Cavender. He does a Blackheath mead. So we're gonna do a mead out there, like an
Nice.
Arizona, New Mexico themed mead, like
Very cool.
mesquite honey and prickly pear,
Nice.
Okay.
barrel aged mead. I think we're pouring at the Big Beers, Belgians and Barley Wines, which is a festival that used to be in Vail. This is their 20th year.
Oh wow.
This year they're at Breckenridge. They moved to Breckenridge a couple years ago. There's a homebrew competition attached to that. So if you're interested in that, it's always fun. It's for those specific styles.
Yeah.
I think the weekend after I'll be in San Diego for the Mostra Festival. He's a coffee guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He does all these
There.
coffee stouts, and we did a collaboration with Perennial with a Biscochito Imperial Porter,
Dang.
and we're going to be pouring that at Mostra, I think.
Holy shit. Run that. What was that one more time?
So a Biscochito is a star anise,
Okay.
cinnamon type of cookie in New
Okay.
Mexico.
Gotcha.
It's usually like a holiday cookie.
Oh, that sounds
And we're
awesome.
going to throw a little Mostra coffee in there.
Okay.
That sounds
It's all his
fucking.
coffees, basically.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds really good.
I can't wait to try that.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
The beer's in process now.
Wow.
I think that's top of my head. That's what I got.
That's
cool.
killer, man.
It's
It's been a good 2019.
2019's kicked ass.
Yeah.
That's been a hell of a year.
Yeah, man. Oh man,
Hell of a year. I can't make that shit up.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a good year. It's treated us well.
It's awesome. Honestly, thanks again, John, for sharing all this incredible beer with us.
No problem. I'm glad to share it with people that I like.
You are such
Thanks,
a classy dude, and it's always such a pleasure to have you on, man.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
And we kept the tradition going of actually mentioning Rowley on the show
every episode,
Every
I think.
episode for some.
I wouldn't be surprised,
Yes, I
dude.
mean-
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's hard not to say
Honestly,
your
thank
guys'
you
stuff.
guys.
So
It means a lot to me.
When you're talking
Right.
about good breweries, sometimes
it's
the good
hard.
ones just keep coming up.
Yep, that's how it works.
But we have to ask John the hot topic question. Of,
Oh yeah, push it.
Well, at least
the
in
envelope.
Arizona, which John has ties to Arizona,
Oh
I do.
yeah,
I lived
big
here
time.
for 10 years, so
and you went to U of A,
I
correct?
went to the U of A. My parents still live
I was
here.
gonna say your parents live here still.
Yeah.
So the big hot topic question is:
What's that?
they
I'm
wanted to change U of A to U Arizona.
Really?
Have you seen that?
I have not seen that. What the fuck
There
is
was
that?
there was even an SNL skit about
The
it.
Oh
fuck
shit!
is that?
Really?
So everybody's known the University of Arizona as U of A, right?
Yeah, that's common.
And they're abbreviated UA most of the time,
Sure.
are U of A. Well, there's a conscious push to change it to U Arizona.
That's stupid.
The letter U,
I get it.
Arizona.
Stupid.
I don't know why they want to do that. So one of the best things about my time at the U of A was these girls used to wear these hot pants. And there was a U on one cheek and an A on the other.
Yeah,
And then, they rode up real high,
Real-
pants.
and right there in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty nice thing to see every day.
That's so funny.
I don't get that in New Mexico. at
no,
all.
yeah. I mean that's
Right.
So-
Arizona.
not the degree you got from it.
I didn't
but-
know that was
No,
the hot
just-
button issue, by the
just-
way.
I didn't know
I
anything
didn't know that
about
was a
this.
thing.
This is a
Well-
new topic to me.
Welcome to Hoppy Crafts and Sports Art Radio with
Yeah.
Ed as your
Yeah.
host.
We're working on
It'll do
sports.
anything to work sports into
I
this
know,
goddamn
always.
podcast.
Hey, it's an
Always.
educational institution, all right?
I love the Coyotes too,
It
man.
is,
But,
but
hey.
that's weird. I honestly, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
yeah. Why wouldn't you want to just keep up the legacy?
Yeah, U of A. It's kind of a known thing.
Listen, I mean, I still call it the Bob downtown, so I don't really care.
Bangor
what they-
Ballpark?
Yeah, I don't care what they call. I don't care what they change their name to.
Someone said that shit to me the other day. I forget what they're.
Oh, I'm
like,
going
what-
over to Bob.
Yeah,
going to the Bob.
Where the fuck
yeah,
are
listen,
you going?
I still call it. I mean, it's gonna be the U of A to me, no matter
Right.
what they change their name to.
Yeah, it doesn't
So-
Well, it's
matter.
just like Ohio State tried to trademark the.
Yeah, that's stupid
What?
too.
That's just
Really?
because they were
Really?
jealous of Miami,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
the Ohio State University.
That's ridiculous.
Come on, don't do that.
Yeah, get over it, dude.
Yeah,
Well-
that seems weird. I don't know if I get
Nobody-
behind that at all.
No.
Okay,
Well,
boomer, right?
Yeah.
Is that the new
Well,
thing?
Yeah.
Okay, Boomer. Yeah, I get that a lot. People think I'm that old.
Oh
Like,
man.
fuck you.
Fuck.
I'm a
Fuck
Gen X,
you.
fucker.
Fuck you.
Yeah, no, fuck you guys. It's fun. I don't care, but
I love it.
it's something to push. That's a hot button topic.
All right, so
Such a fucking pleasure to have you on, John.
I'm gonna have to.
I love it.
I'll just delete this when I edit this. But did you see the New Zealand girl that was like giving like a climate speech to like their city council? She's like 25, and somebody like one of the councilmen was like heckling her, and she's like blah blah blah. Climate change is the most important thing, and he's like saying something. And she's like, yeah, okay, boomer, and then she just keeps going,
Really?
100%, and it's like on a
That's
YouTube
awesome.
video, and like
Well,
they.
he had it coming. It sounded.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, if you're in the right atmosphere, perfect.
Yeah, it was great. And she they were the closed captioning wasn't keeping up with the times and the meme, and they said like okay Burma. So they said it was like nope.
Nope, you didn't get that right.
And they apologized later and said, we just didn't keep up. Evidently she said,
Okay, bro.
okay boomer.
Oh
boomer.
shit.
I was like, that's perfect.
Very
Gotta love
nice.
memes.
We had some incredible beers, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and if anybody associated with the GABF is listening, get that 3 metal shadow
Yeah.
box going.
I'm working on them.
You've already chosen well.
Well, we might have to make it ourselves, but we'll see. I'm hoping they'll do it for me.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks again, John. Big time.
So John, if people want to find more information about Rowley Farmhouse Ales, where they can get that kind of beer, what you have going on, where should they go check
that's
out? Man?
one last thing we should talk about. I have a thing called the Honor Society,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
and that's really the best way to buy the 750s because we give people rights to buy those beers.
And you
if-
want the 750s.
Yes, you want the 750s,
You
which
want
is
the
really the stuff that I put my heart into.
I was
the
gonna say,
most.
if you want the love, you want
Yeah,
the
I
750s.
mean, the other stuff is good too. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But those are the beers we really want to focus on. I can't.
I'm
brew
glad.
as much of that as we can. The other stuff.
I'm glad you're fighting the 375.
I'm fighting it. It's not happening.
I love it.
we're gonna. So we the way the Honor Society works is it's a $75 fee. You get 2 glasses. Now you might have seen Thomas, who was in here earlier.
Yep.
He's the Odell rep here.
Okay.
He's also my artist. He did all of these graphics.
Oh, very cool.
Nice.
So he's working on a new graphic for this year's Honor Society, or the next iteration, which I think it's going to open up in about 3 weeks. And I think it's Rowley. It's myshopify.rowleyfarmhouse.com, I think.
Okay.
Or look on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
There'll probably be a link when it goes public. And so it'll sell out fast because I think we're only doing 125 slots.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
And we have 63 members right now, and they have first rights of refusal. I imagine most of them are going to...
So really, I mean, you're only talking about like
most of them are
maybe
back.
60 some slots then. If
Yeah,
they're
it's
going
going to
to
go quick. So if you're interested,
jump on it.
jump on it. Don't wait,
Okay.
because
Oh,
it'll probably sell out pretty quick.
Very cool.
And that's the best way to get the beer. We'll also have a bottle share. We'll close the brewery, catered
that's-
food.
That's
We did this
badass.
last year, but we did it on the fucking coldest day of the year, and everyone was freezing their balls off.
Worth
So this
it.
year we're not going to do that. We'll have a warmer party. The party was still fun, but
That's
it
worth
was like
$75 right there.
Yeah.
so. Last year we did it differently. We had a $300 fee. You got the party. You got a T-shirt. You got that Arctic bottle. What else? There was 2 coasters that were made out of the same wood that our fooders were made out of.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you
That's
got
fucking
5
sick.
beers, 2 bottles of each.
Holy
So the
fuck.
thing with that is people are content with that, and they don't buy any extra bottles.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So we wanted to make it a little more
Yeah.
accessible, so you don't have to pay as much up front, but you can buy the bottles you want.
Very nice.
You'll still get some swag. You'll still get a party.
That's awesome.
I think it's a good deal.
Hell yeah.
It's
That's a
where
re-
the-
that's
it's
a
the
great
way
deal.
these
That's a
groups are
fucking
going.
awesome deal.
I think so, because a lot of the groups have gone to lesser charges and
But you still get the access.
still
The same.
get the access, buy bottles.
That's
That way you can buy
Right.
what you want.
an easy
and you're not-
$75 spent.
and you're not struggling to pay $300.
Hell yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, you're asking a lot. I think I overdid that a little bit, but live and learn.
Right.
Exact.
You just gotta
Look
try.
what you came back with. That's a killer package.
I
That's
think
awesome.
It's a good package. So yeah, take a look at our Facebook page. I think it's going to
Fuck
open
yeah.
up 3 weeks from Friday. Today's Friday, right? Yeah.
It is.
Yes.
It's 3
3
weeks from
weeks.
today. I think it's. I think it is. It's going to open up on Black Friday.
So yeah, today is November 8th. This should come out next week, which is the 15th, I believe. So
So 29th.
yeah,
The
so
Black Friday.
Black
Wednesday.
Friday.
Yeah, I think it opens up on the 29th.
Next Wednesday will be the 13th. Yeah.
Yep. All right. There you go.
Pretty sure it's the 29th.
Okay.
And then if
Well, check
you're
for
in
more
Arizona,
details.
where's a good place to find your beer?
So,
Off the top of your head.
like we talked about earlier,
Justin's Places.
Justin's places are good. If you're a brewery or a tap room, you want to buy beer, info at rowleyfarmhouse.com. We'll put you on our list, and you can, you have a
Get 'em
shot
in.
at buying the beer when it comes here.
and you will not regret it.
But
No,
I think
100%.
the Shell, we call this the Shell Corporation. Because we've got 4 different locations.
Right.
The Shell has a lot. So Theodore, Sleepy Whale, Hops on Birch.
Yep.
And then here,
Wandering.
our Wandering Tortoise.
Yep.
Yep.
Tap and Bottle usually does
Yep.
get a couple bottles or get some. That's Tucson. Where else?
I think I've seen it on tap at Divided Vine
Okay.
and Irene's, right?
Yeah.
We've had it at
Irene's had it before.
Yep.
She didn't really care for the Beer Connect guy very much, I think. So she was
Yeah,
complaining about
we've
him.
heard her opinions on distributors.
Yeah, she's not a wallflower.
Yeah. No. she's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
We like Irene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Irene's
Irene's a
she's
shit.
Bonnie.
She's
Yeah.
straight up.
No.
Yeah.
Her middle name's Irene. We can still call her
She
Irene.
calls it like she sees it.
Yeah.
So, good
Love
for her.
that.
Yeah, she doesn't fuck around.
She does
Yeah.
not.
Besides that, I think that's about it. But if
Hopefully
you want it
expanding.
at your shop, tell your shop to contact us, and we'll
Bring it in.
get them on the list.
Awesome.
Love it. That's awesome. And that is not be a foolish phone call, because the beer we had tonight, man, holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Making some
amazing.
amazing stuff.
Nate, if people want to figure out and find more information about us, where should they go?
I haven't done this in a while.
Yeah.
No, it's going to see Hobby Craftsman at hobbycraftsman.beer.
He fucked it up.
I already fucked it up.
Yeah.
Hobbycraftsman.beer and at Hobby Craftsman on Facebook and Instagram.
Excellent. Ed, I'm looking at you because your wife's sitting here and she's gonna be just look at you because she knows who are the raddest fucking people in the world.
The raddest people in the world are Patreon supporters. That would be Zach Dominguez, who is sitting right behind Zach over there. Jessica Langley, Paul. I got to start writing these down so I don't repeat them. But we're gonna go with Paul.
Paul F.
Fragile.
Frosty.
Wait,
Fragile.
Frosty
we already
Freeze.
did Fragile, I think.
Yeah.
Is it Fragile?
No, we're fucking up his name on purpose. So.
God damn it. No, I'm not.
Okay, well, give it a shot, Nate. Go for it.
No, I didn't. I just did. I'm not doing it again. Keep going.
Paul, thanks. Paulie Beans.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
We'll call him that. The Indie Beer Show.
We
Selena
really need to get
Gomez,
Paul
who's
something
sitting
for
next
free.
to Zach and keeps giving me the stink eye.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm in trouble or not.
No, you're fine.
Rob Fulmer of the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild, Mark Ballesteros, and Anthony Bracamonte. Chris, if people want to help us out, buy all this fancy new equipment and go visit John. First class plane tickets, right?
Yes.
Where can they go?
Yeah, first class. We're classy people like
You guys
that.
have lofty goals.
Well, shoe high.
Shoot. Yeah.
Well, it's
if-
probably a cheap flight to Albuquerque.
Could be.
On
First class would be
Southwest
real nice.
Yep. $59.
On a
You
Mesa
don't have
Gateway.
to pay for first class.
Yep.
If you want to do that, they can go check out patreon.com/hoppycraftsman. We have a bunch of tiers there that people can actually get themselves. It can be like Ed's super awesome wife over there, Cena, and get their own actually tier named after themselves or name it where they want, really, is what it comes down to. So
If you have that much disposable income, we'll help
you should totally
do
do it. We'll help you out. And the final tier is the $5,000 tier, which is we'll come party with you somewhere.
Nice.
And we'll
Anywhere.
we'll bring the beer, too.
Yeah.
So
Fucking A, that sounds
we'll do
like
it.
a sweet
Can't wait
deal.
for that one.
I have
Screaming
one-
deal.
We just need one person to do it.
One
If
guy
John
is ready
knows.
to go.
Screaming
Listen,
deal.
he's been with us twice now. It's worth it to send a John.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, as always, thanks for listening. I'm Chris.
I'm Eddie.
And thank you so much, John.
You
Seriously.
guys are welcome. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait for the next time.
Oh, yeah. We won't wait 2 fucking years this time.
Yeah, exactly.
And hopefully the next time's in New
Life gets in the
Mexico.
way, but yeah, come up to New Mexico. We'll podcast in the brewery.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. I'm Nate. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
That was a good one.